Happy Halloween, everybody! It's this annual tried and true tradition of Binding of Isaac Horrible Childhood Stories Birthday Edition.
Yeah.
Because it's Becky Blow's birthday. So today on the show, the twist that we're putting on, this is a special treat to Becky. Becky loves Binding of Isaac, so she'll be playing Binding of Isaac on her birthday. In addition, we will be giving priority to reading today birthday stories from your childhood. You know what? And I'm gonna go ahead and say horrible or not. Give me the best birthday stories as well, like exceptionally awesome birthday stories. Things that, like, for instance, my best birthday ever, my mom did a magic show. She learned magic tricks for the show, dressed as a magician, did tricks for my friends.
Oh,
yeah, I thought it was so cool.
So
she did tricks that genuinely were blowing people's minds.
Really?
Yeah, like she designed these wands that had like an elastic through the middle of a tube. And then at the top, a bead at the top and bottom that connected the elastic. Then if you took one of the beads and put it like kind of, you held the wand, then you take the bead and you bring it up like into your hand like that, so that, and then bring the wand down so the elastic's coming out of the bottom and the bead's held at the top of your hand. Then if you start to loosen your grip, the wand starts to raise up through your hand. Because it's stretching. No, but she taught everybody that.
Really?
After blowing their mind, she taught them all how to do it and had wands for everybody, and they got to go home with the wands.
Oh my god, that's so great.
Yeah, it was the best.
And she made all of it.
She made everything. It was a really cool birthday. And that's a good one. So yeah, I will accept really heartwarming or fun birthdays, but huge priority to birthdays where you shit your pants.
Or your hair catches on fire.
It was the worst birthday ever
My
because
sister's hair caught on fire.
at her birthday.
Yeah.
That's a pretty classic.
Yeah.
That's a pretty classic. America's Funniest Videos video.
Hilarious.
Where people with hairspray have their hair go on fire. So today, submit your stories to the Turbo Toot with the hashtag VGABOI for Binding of Isaac. You'll probably see tons of them when you go to the Turbo Toot, so I hope all y'alls know how to use the Turbo Toot. Get on there, and then our mods are gonna collect them all and put them on our forum, and I'll read them. There'll be a birthday forum thread and a leftovers birthday thread. So I'm gonna prioritize birthdays. When I run out of birthday stories, I'll move on to other stuff. Secondary bonus to Halloween stories, because it is Halloween. And then what else whatever you have left that was funny, traumatizing. If you haven't watched previous years, you might not know what we mean by traumatizing childhood stories. We don't mean real trauma, we mean funny trauma. We mean pooping your pants, peeing your pants dropping down in front of a girl you liked, calling your teacher mommy, on 7 different occasions on the same day.
Yeah.
And then asking her to breastfeed you by accident. Like stuff that we can laugh at, that you can look back at and laugh at now. Not stuff that like haunts you literally to this day and you're going to wince as I read it.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that. Okay.
I'm just
so
kind of
while those
flexing.
stories are starting to get written, no rush, guys. The mods are going to... Oh, and also, one other note. Turbo Toot relegates you to a certain length. Try to keep it in that length. It's more than enough to write a good story. If you want to add details, put them as replies to that original post, and then maybe the mods can put them in as bonus details that I can ignore if I didn't think the story was rip-roaring good time. You can have a bonus details, but don't expect those to get read. Make sure you get the fucking story in the original body of the post. All right, guys. No pressure though. Just, go ahead.
I'm just showing them what I have locked and unlocked.
Becky's been always playing. She plays Binding of Isaac quite a bit. It's her main game.
It's what I play. I play it in September and October every year. And I don't really look up how to beat anything, usually. I just kind of go with the flow. So I don't know There's a whole bunch of shit that I haven't unlocked. I have almost all of the bestiary filled out. I think I only have 3 baddies that I haven't discovered yet at the very end. I don't know how to get ending 19. I think it has something to do with Ultra Greed, but I beat Ultra Greed. Like, I have 150 coins or something in the greed machine. So
look at all these fucking creatures.
Yeah, so there's
a lot of them.
2 unknowns, 3 unknown in my bestiary.
Wow, you still haven't met some creatures?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
Well, did you see how many secrets I don't have? Like.
So some of them are they're bosses that only appear in certain rooms or something that you haven't made it to?
Well, it probably has something to do with the fact that I don't have ending 19 in the final boss. Like, they're probably those guys. Yeah, the
when are you going to get the
to
final boss?
I don't know. I haven't looked up how to do it. I just kind of play and see what happens.
Every so often, Becky will yell like, "Oh," because she got something new or figured out something, how something happens.
And then these are my. So this is like up here is.
Who is your favorite guy to use?
I always go random.
Oh, that's a good way to go.
But my favorite guy to use. Might be this guy. It's kind of fun.
Azazel?
Yeah. Eden's kind of interesting because it's like a random thing. Lilith is fun too.
Alright.
Alright. Have
Let's
you
go.
been casually playing Binding of Isaac too, Fraser?
Nah, I don't play Binding of Isaac.
It is, if I had one game to play for my entire life, it would be this.
I think most people's favorite games are the ones that you can play over and over and over and over again, and it's a fresh experience every time. For me, that is Civ, Hearthstone, and Overwatch. It's something that you know you're not gonna have to relearn the wheel every time you pick it up. It's comfortable, but at the same time, it's a challenge. You're always getting better.
Yeah.
You're always learning new strategies and stuff, but you're not learning the ropes every time you pick it up. And I think that's why people don't play a variety of games. They always want to go back to the old standard.
Oh, that's okay.
Where they know the basics but they feel like an expert. You feel like an expert, but at the same time you feel challenged. Because you never know what's going to happen. That's why roguelikes are so amazing.
Yeah. This and Rogue Legacy are 2 of
Rogue
my
Legacy
favorite
is
games.
great.
Yeah. Ooh, speed up.
My traumatizing Halloween story is that my favorite time of the year came along for a Halloween update for my favorite game, and then they went off and they supported a fucking tyrannical, totalitarian government.
Yep.
So I couldn't, in good conscience, not take a good break from their fucking shit.
Have you been missing playing those 2 games?
Yes, I love them. I just haven't decided how long to last with the solidarity. I don't think we can ignore it forever, the game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they reduce the guy's suspension to 6 months. Maybe 6 months, anybody with a good conscience should go off the game. Till his suspension's done. Be like, fine, Blizzard, you want to suspend him for 6 months for speaking his mind about the rightful the wrongful plight of the Hong Kong people? We'll be gone for 6 months too.
That feels fair.
I don't think that's a big deal, everybody, to take 6 months off. Show them what 6 months without revenue is like. But that's the sad thing. So few people are going to be adhering to this. Anyways, moving on. Halloween.
It's my birthday, no politics.
Yeah, sorry.
Fraser wanted me to make Binding of Isaac shirts, or like costumes, for today's show. And I was looking at them and I was like, how would you do that? Like, because it's so much of it is about the faces.
How would you do a Binding of Isaac costume?
Oh, come on. God.
You don't have to. Well, doesn't he wear his dead cat on his head at one point?
He does?
You could make that as a hat.
Pheromones.
I love how they added the voice.
What kind of suits does he ever wear?
Well, pajamas.
That we could wear some pajamas
This is the blue
with
thing
some of
that
his
has on?
signature hats.
Bombs are key. Sweet. Oh, yeah! I don't need any of you. Sweet!
Yeah, like with stuff like this, it's like the Pokemon cosplays where people don't dress as the literal Pokemon, but they wear elements of the Pokemon's signature look. That it's just a girl wearing like a pretty dress, but then you see all these signature elements. Like, oh yeah, this is a Pikachu
It's so
thing.
hard though, because there's so many options, and I feel like his face is such a big part of it. His penis fell off. Like,
That's my only. I
eyes.
say this every year. I wish he had animated more of those.
Me too.
And Mick McMillan's so good, and look at all the effort that goes into this game. I feel like with the ideas that comes out of his head, he's probably got, like, he would have no shortage.
Yeah.
Animate, like, you know, a few hundred. So playing the game, it's like, oh man, I haven't gotten that one in a long time. Or I haven't even seen that one before.
Yeah. I guess we could have gotten naked.
All right, everybody who's just joining, right now our turbos are dutifully slaving away, writing some traumatizing childhood stories.
Oh god.
Some horrible childhood stories with preferences being given to birthdays. But even this year we're allowing some heartwarming birthdays. I think that maybe heartwarming stories will contrast and make the horrible ones sound all the worse.
Yeah.
Maybe. Particularly heartwarming birthdays.
I remember, since my birthday is so close to Halloween.
Because it's Becky's birthday!
Yeah, today's my birthday. This is what 36 looks like. My mom would, one year they raked a whole bunch of leaves. I've probably told this. And they put like little gotcha things in the leaves, and it had like Halloween stuff and candy and stuff in it. We had to like go through all the leaves to find all these like special.
What a
things
wonderful
in them.
childhood.
What a wonderful childhood. Thank you.
Everybody has a traumatizing thing, Spiker Man. I don't care how good your childhood was. You shit your pants at some point in front of somebody. Don't pretend. You're lying if you say you didn't.
I peed everywhere. I peed my pants. I peed all of the underwear that my mom packed for me whenever I went to my aunt's. And then she put me in my cousin's underwear. And I peed my cousin's underwear. And she said, Becky, you peed your pants again? And I said, no, I peed Kristen's pants.
Very good. Yeah, I love that one.
Yep. Classic Becky moment.
A classic one everybody knows of mine is that I was so shy as a kid at the beginning until I started to become a little show off when I realized I was smart. And I went into kindergarten, and it was like probably the first day or maybe the second day or something, but I wasn't comfortable enough with the teacher yet to ask her, can I go to the bathroom? And so I didn't, and I just held it, and then I eventually like finally got desperate and said, can I go to the bathroom, please? Overcame, like the pressure in my bladder overcame the shyness.
Oh yeah.
Which resulted in me running for the bathroom but peeing on the way. So then I came back and said I was too late, basically, and she took me to the office where the standard thing to do is to go through the lost and found to see if they can find you something else to wear. And of course, it was girls' pants. It was like a purple track pants with like a pink flower embroidered on the side. It couldn't have gotten more girly. So I had to wear that for the rest of the day.
It's so sad. That should be like the first thing kindergarten teachers do, is say like, if you have to go to the bathroom, let me know.
I want to raise a kid that can, like, in that situation, first would never have gotten in that situation because they wouldn't be shy.
Oh, but if they're like part my kid, if you have the kid with me, then.
But if it happens,
that kid's gonna
come back to class and be like, I got girls' pants on! Like, you know? And you know that kid.
Check me out!
You know that kid. There's always that kid who's got that confidence.
Oh my god.
Being like, woo! Now don't be falling in love with me, boys. Sachets around. Woohoo!
Oh my god, this sachet. Woo!
Another thing about the show is the this show. A weird middle ground between actually traumatizing and then like was a lot of the stories had to do with teachers embarrassing you. Because so that was a weird, I'll allow it, but it definitely hits a middle gray ground where it's like, while you were embarrassed, that's definitely an embarrassing story, and I can kind of laugh at your embarrassment. I'm so overcome with anger at the teacher that it's hard for me to enjoy your embarrassment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna ban those at all because they usually make some pretty good stories. We're trying to channel the Isaac vibes of being traumatized. So I'm just gonna jump on just to make sure I can find those threads now. On the forums. So I go to sticks.turbo.chat where we log in to our membership system here. Put together by our amazing eggheads behind the scenes.
Thanks, eggheads!
Then I guess I head into...
Isaac has an egghead.
Turbo Discourse is what it's called.
Damage up. I won't get that damage up.
All categories. I'm not
and you're
sure.
also using Toot? Oh, I hate dark levels.
You guys are
so
submitting
dark.
to Toot. I'm reading them from the forum where the mods are going to collect your Toots and put them in there.
Don't go in there, it's dank. Big old collection of Toots.
I'm not seeing a thread yet though. How many mods do we have around today? When I say mods, am I basically just leaving this all up to Grabble?
There are 2 in there. There's one for birthday stories and the one Dissy made.
Okay, let me just
Ooh!
Oh, I wasn't logged in. I thought when I hit it, I log in. Okay, I hadn't logged in yet, that's why. Now I see. So I'm gonna start with birthday stories. Oh, Miss Fable starts. We know she's gonna have a good, oh wow, there's already tons in here?
Damn, you guys.
So you can, guys, if you want to go into the Turbo Discord, you can submit them, I guess. I just was afraid everybody would know how to get into Turbo Discourse. If you don't know how, put it in the Toot. And people will keep an eye out for it there. If you know how to get into Turbo Discourse, go ahead. I just don't, I know it's fresh for everybody, and I don't think everybody's been completely gone through the orientation and know exactly how to do this shit.
Why didn't that go through?
And if we run out of steam, I'm gonna send my wave of turbos into the Twitch chat to collect some of their stories.
Ooh, that's fun.
If we run out of steam. But you do have to log in via Toot first to get into the forum, yeah. All right, so Miss Fable leads it off with, so my 7th birthday, it was at my house and my brother invited his friends also to play video games. At some point, while we were having cake, I made a comment about my brother and he seemed to get mad. He went up behind me and smacked my head. This is 7th birthday. My friends all went quiet and I started to cry. he got in trouble, and my mom made him go to his room while his friends had to leave.
Oh my god!
They all had to get punished. It's like, well, he's God, so there's no reason for you to be here anymore.
Oh my god.
Get out of my daughter's birthday. Why couldn't they stay? I was still kind of emotional, but I started to feel better at the end. That so many people had suffered on my account.
Yeah.
All these 9-year-olds didn't get their fucking cake because their 9-year-old buddy fucking smacked his sister. Alright.
Shit.
That is quite tragic for him. Nerdina can. Yeah, we're supposed to feel sorry for her there. I feel sorry for the dudes that didn't get their cake.
Yeah, man.
They were looking forward to it probably all day. That's justice? Okay, I guess. Like,
I read it
old
as
biblical justice.
Nerd in a can. That's how I read
Nerdina can.
it. Yeah, nerd in a can.
Nerdina is their name, and they can. It's like, Nerdina can. Nerdina can says, when I was younger, I don't remember exactly, I went to a friend's birthday.
It is nerd in a can.
And she had a Little Mermaid cake. The thing is, though, it was a Barbie doll on the cake, so when the candles were lit, the Little Mermaid went up in flames. Now, when we talk about it, we say, I bet she wanted to go back under the sea. That'll teach her to come up over the sea.
So I'm trying to figure out which button shows the map. There it goes.
How's the game audio in relation to my voice, guys? That's pretty funny, though. That should have been put on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Shit. Trap.
All right.
Good.
When I was 9, I was going to, this is from Acid Silver. When I was 9, I was going to move away when my school year ended, so I decided to invite my entire class to the last birthday I would have while at the school. I put invites in every person's class mailbox and set up a party for around 20 at Chuck E. Cheese.
So sad.
Why does it sound like, so you had to do all this? So little 9-year-old Acid Silver calls up Chuck E. Cheese, says, yeah, I'm gonna need about 20. You got that much? No, I don't want to be in the back. I want to be up front. In the front window, that display. Yeah, so everybody walking by can see me having the biggest birthday, the best birthday of my life.
I have my mom do this.
Okay. Eventually, the day of my birthday came around, and at Chuck E. Cheese, there was a huge setup with balloons, loads of pizza, and a section reserved just for my birthday. Only 2 people ended up showing up, and they were friends who would have just showed up anyway. Because of this, I stopped having parties for my birthday and hated going to other people's birthdays. Also, none of my classmates brought up my birthday for the rest of the school year. What a bunch of cunts.
Yeah.
Well, those parents are the ones who are real cunts.
Yes. Yeah. It's fucking Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Yeah, wait, did you put Chuck E. Cheese on their invitation?
Did you put Chuck E. Cheese on the invitation? That could sort of make or break the deal.
I mean, well, you had to, because otherwise where do they know to drop people off?
What the shit? They all suck. Screw them.
You must have been one stinky kid. For them to pass up Chuck E. Cheese. Sorry, not sorry.
You're a fast one.
Sad face. Uh-oh, stinky.
You guys have lots of bombs. I could use. Aw, you son of a bitch.
Is this your first battle?
No. Just the first one that's kind of giving me a little bit of an issue. I died.
Yeah, the story's heartbreaking, but it's not like... That's pretty good, though. It's mainly not heartbreaking if you tell me that...
Ironically, I still love Chuck E. Cheese.
It's less sad if you say, now I own that Chuck E. Cheese, and I fired everybody. I'm a big shot in town now. Everybody knows I'm the one who owns the Chuck E. Cheese, and they fucking know my name. And they get out of my way at the grocery store. Alright, DSKTY says, I loved parrots as a kid. So my mom found a cake with a scarlet macaw on it to surprise me. I got upset when she tried to cut the cake though, because I was too young, 4 or 5, to realize that the fake bird wouldn't get hurt. Still laugh about it today.
Aww, that's so cute. And what do you do in that situation? Like, you have to cut the fucking cake.
You sound like a real loser.
That's adorable.
What a bleeding heart liberal. Soy boy. Alright. Grabble says, on my 7th birthday, I was so excited that I ran down from my room. Leapt off the 5th stair from the bottom. I'm loving this already. Hit my head on the ceiling. Slammed my back down onto the stairs. That's the first time in my life that I knocked the wind out of myself. I just remember thinking that I was dying, and then I pooped my pants.
Oh my god.
I love any, like, injury that is a combo move.
Yeah, man.
Like, poop. Akira Okami. This was how old when Grabble did that? 7th, okay. Alright, so from Akira Okami, I think my best birthday was when all of my classmates was invited and we had a big Contra competition to see who could get the furthest without using the Contra code. I didn't win, but it was fun, and it's one of the few birthdays I actually still remember all these years later. Wow, humble brag.
Die on fire.
Nobody can play Contra without the code, man. I'm trying to remember if I ever had a birthday where we all played video games.
I think I did.
I remember a birthday where it was like my, there was quite a few years where my parents couldn't afford much. My dad had hurt his back and he had to go back to school so he could get an educated job, which was paid for by compensation, but like we had to live on very little for a very long time. And I think my mom was able to stretch $1 pretty good and make things seem special still and everything. Mm-hmm. And I think she got a used copy of Super Street Fighter from the video game rental store from Gary's.
Like bought?
Yeah. So like it was probably like quite cheap, mm-hmm. but like I was super into it because I love Street Fighter, and I don't know. I remember like a few people being over and we played Street Fighter all birthday.
That's cool.
I sucked at Street Fighter though. That game sucks. It's so hard. The technical, man, as much as I don't like today, I can't really find myself getting into Smash Bros. Uh-huh. Smash Bros. I would have gotten right into when I was younger if it had come out then.
Yeah. Oh, I probably would have too.
Because it's just so smart. Like the simplicity of like doing the moves, pressing up, press plus button, side plus button, up plus button.
Like we were both super into Mortal Kombat.
But like with Street Fighter, just to get proficient, you have to spend like weeks just mastering the moves, and then the combos aren't intuitive. Anyways, that's my lament.
Oh, this guy's kind of hard. Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot what that thing does. I actually still forgot what that thing does. Guys, what's the pickaxe do? Oh, I think that you can crush, I remember now, you can crush rocks in the room. I remember it was something I didn't use a lot.
Alright, next one from Ian Kid. Not my birthday, but some kids I was at in the park. Yeah, I'll accept other people's stories if you keep their names out of it, obviously. Yeah. Like that you just know happened to somebody or whatever. Not my birthday, but it was some kids I was at in the park where the party was at. A game of long ball catch began. Long baseball catch began. I threw the ball way too high, and everyone watching the course of it noted it heading for one kid. We all yelled for him to look, so he looked up for a solid 2 seconds, then got hit and was out.
Oh, fuck.
He was fine after, but I could not get that moment of watching him stare up out of my head.
Aww.
Was he the birthday boy?
Oh, that would
He
make
says
it even worse.
just one kid.
Can't remember.
Kind of a humble brag. Man, I remember this one birthday, I threw the ball so high, and everybody was like, whoa, that's the highest I've ever seen. They're like, oh, it's gonna hit that kid, man. Oh, dude, you don't know your own strength. That's gonna hurt him, man. And it hit him, and people couldn't believe that he survived because I'd thrown it so high.
But also traumatizing a little bit because he never played baseball again.
I meant to throw it straight. Lupu says, oh, okay, it's an adult thing, so I'm gonna skip it. Well, I'll skim it. Oh, that sounds like a nice birthday. All right, so Gravel says, from Psychotic Biotic on Turbo 2, my mom was an OBGYN. This is gonna be incredible, right? This has to be, like, what? So I knew where babies came from. Oh, okay, I thought it was gonna involve that. All right, so I knew where babies came from at an early age. When I was 4 or 5. Wait a minute, let's stop for a second though.
What?
Your mom was an OBGYN, so you knew where babies came from an early age. Like, you know, my dad could be a fucking plumber, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna know how to unclog the sewer from an early age. Sorry to equate the two. When I was 4 or 5, my mom and I were out in public. I saw a very pregnant woman and said very loudly, "Mommy, that baby has a lady in her vagina." A baby in her vagina. That lady has a baby in her vagina. Birth related, but not inherently birthday related. XD.
That's pretty great.
Funny because you were wrong. That's not where the baby stays. That would be pretty bad if that's where the baby grew.
Just hanging out in your vagina.
Just half in, half out of the vagina.
Oh, God.
Your mom should have used the right terms.
Isn't it? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I failed nursing school, she says.
A woman just had a baby on the JR train, eh?
On the main, on one of the big companies here's Subway.
Yeah. Wild.
That's pretty crazy. Did they keep her on the car or did they move her off the car?
That's the extent of what I know.
I imagine she started to go into labor on it and then they got her the fuck off.
I imagine that happens like, you know, once a year or something. Also, you're gonna get to the friggin' hospital.
Like, when could you be so in labor that you can't be moved off of it?
Like,
Can you go from 0 to 100 that fast that you can't be just simply slid out of, carried out to the side?
I don't know. Like, babies can come quickly, but...
And that baby was named Harajuku Station.
Oh, God.
That baby was named Koenji.
Koenji.
And that baby was named Akihabara. Then that baby was named Space Station. Literally the name of one of the train stations here was going to be named Space Station because they left it up to internet voting and nominations. And no, they didn't. It wasn't internet. They left it up to a junior school.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Junior school girls. Like a set.
Blaming it on the girls.
A set of schools of a certain age group. Like they combined all their votes.
Fucking Olympic mascots, and that's why they're shit.
That was left to children, like little children, and that's why we have Pokemon now.
Yeah, stupid mascots. They had such cool options, and they picked the stupidest ones.
So anyways, they left it up to these junior school girls, and they named it, the top winner was Space Station for the new train station. And then, of course, like so many of these things that are left to the public, they, you know...
You're like, oh, shit, that was a bad idea.
They countered it and said, no, we're not going to do it, actually, on second thought, so fuck you.
And so now what's it called?
Just some good name. Probably named after, like, a region or a person or something. What was the name of that one... The SS Mr. Ship, or what was the ship that was named by the internet? Shippy McShipperson or Ship...
And then fucking
Shippy McShipface? Bodie McBoatface.
Bodie McBoatface.
Good. It's so good. It's so innocent. Like the internet, like it's a good example of the internet coming up with something that's actually funny and cute and not like horrible.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Gaming Kid says, one of my most embarrassing birthdays was when I went to was actually pretty recently, a month ago. Well, I'm gonna allow this because Gaming Kid, you are a child, so.
No, he's actually an adult now.
Oh, I don't know if this counts, but it's embarrassing. I'll do it real quick. I prefer it when you're young, but it was for a friend's 21st birthday. We were drinking too much drinks. Oh God, you still sound like a baby, kid. We were drinking too much drinks. Oh, it's so much drinks, never mind. I couldn't even comprehend what I was saying anymore. I got so bad that I threw up on my friend's shoes and Hydro Flask 3 times. What the fuck is Hydro Flask? And threw up 2 more times at home and also ate nacho cheese Doritos and pizza before, so it all came out very nasty and orangey.
Ew. What's Hydro Flask?
I don't know what the fuck that is, but...
That's some crazy thing kids do these days.
That's definitely baby's first I got drunk story.
It's okay, Gaming Kid.
Call me when you have some actually interesting ones. But that takes a while. You're gonna have to do it for a while before you get some real good drinking stories.
Yeah, like a junkie threw a crate on my head and then I had to go to the hospital, but I lied to the people who were trying to help me because I was testing them to see how they do during the Olympics. That's the story. Oh, and I got staples in my head. You're an idiot.
I'll tell mine one more time. One of my best drunk stories is Ben's birthday. We're at the Canby, which is this big, it's actually a hostel, so it's got a big mix of people. It's a cheap place, cheap drinks. Open communal seating, benches, and like big.
It was a great.
It's a great place for a party.
I don't know if it is.
But it gets real rowdy. And anyways, I go to the bathroom at some point, and I come back. I'm in a good mood too, and I come back just like waltzing out of the bathroom, and I see across the bar Ben in a headlock with some guy. Somebody's got him in a headlock and people are all gathering around. Like, it's going down and like that something had happened. Like, this is a real fight. And so I just fucking beelined it across the bar, jump on the guy's back that has been in a headlock and just start wailing into him as hard as I can into his head. I don't know how it gets broken up, but I somehow get out without unscathed. Somebody just kind of pulls me back, gently even. Ben gets yanked out of the place, thrown out on the street.
That's usually how.
And then I pat this guy on the back. I'm like, hey, thanks for breaking. I pat this guy, the bouncer, on the back. Thanks for breaking that up. And he says, you realize you punched me in the head like 7 times, right?
It's so good.
Only then do I realize it was the bouncer who had Ben in a headlock, because Ben, rewind about 5 minutes while I was in the bathroom, is trying to get to the one section of the bar where they have sectioned it so you can eat, and the laws don't allow them to serve the same drinks on one side where everybody's drinking and where they're eating on the other side, they're having snacks, pub food. And he wants to go over there with his drink in his hand. The guy's like, hold up, buddy. Just finish your drink or whatever if you want to come over here. And Ben's like, I don't remember exactly what he said. I think the extent of it was like, why don't you fuck off or something?
Why don't you suck my dick?
Suck my dick. Yeah, that's what he said. And he says, all right, get out of here. And then Ben just like pushed him or something. The guy puts him in a headlock to get him out of the bar. Ben was far too gone. So you have this bouncer showing an incredible amount of restraint.
Yeah.
And we all end up getting kicked out because we're
And
idiots.
the flaming lips were there.
The flaming lips were there. They watched the whole thing. Yeah, I remember the flaming lips. We were pretty drunk.
Yeah.
And I remember they'd only arrived like maybe 20 minutes before.
Yeah.
And we were like 2 tables down from them. I remember somebody be like, hey, the flaming lips are here. And be like, oh, cool.
We could have been best friends with them, but...
Cool, the flaming lips are here. And then we get kicked out.
How do you pause? Okay.
But that basically sums up Ben and my loyalty to him. But it's a real testament to how weak I am. I punched him 7 times and he didn't care. He had no marks on him at all. I thought I was giving it up my all. Like, just giving it to this guy. I remember just going in and being like, oh man, wouldn't want to be this guy right now.
Do you think the flaming lips remember that?
Yeah, I think they probably tell the story still to this day. Whoa, man, guys, you ever...
One of the greatest nights of drinking my life.
This is a tale that heralds an ancient time where Viking berserkers would crash onto the shores of whatever. All right, so Silent Judger says, for my 10th birthday, we went to SeaWorld. During the tour, we stopped at a dolphin tank and the guide started handing out fish to feed them. You can still see where the sliver of flesh they bit off my middle finger is supposed to go. For your 10th birthday.
Good story. Good delivery.
Nice. And yeah, good delivery. Nice and succinct. I like it. It's funny because there's another birthday story of ours, drunk, where I got thrown out by a bouncer. It was Becky's birthday.
It was my 20th birthday?
In Waterloo. I'll accept birthday stories from any age for this episode.
Yeah, because we're telling
as long as they're genuinely funny.
Old ones.
You know? Anyways, yeah, so she's like, I guess we were at the bathroom. I come to the bathroom. Becky just finished in the bathroom, and I see her. I'm like, there you are. And, how was your birthday? And you're like, it's pretty good. We're both really drunk. Not that drunk, though.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're not that drunk.
You were.
No, we're just feeling good. Yeah, I was teasing. Anyway, so I put my arm around her. I'm like, happy birthday, as we're walking back to our table like this. Yeah, we weren't even that drunk. We just actually gotten there like an hour before.
Yes, we were not that drunk.
And this bouncer's like, all right, buddy, you're way too far gone. You're out of here. And I'm like, what? I was like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, listen to me. Like, I've only had like 2 drinks at this point. I was joking.
Yeah,
and he's like, I saw you stumbling all over. You got to get the hell out of here.
We have a whole table full
we had a whole bunch of people there.
Like St. Catherine's and Toronto.
Yeah, people had driven like an hour. So we're getting pushed. Like he's like, no, you're getting out of here. And I'm like, fuck you. And I push him. And he's like, and he grabs me, my arms from behind like this, like hooks his arms around mine and uses me as a battering ram to push through the crowd. So he's knocking people down with my body.
Yeah. Some of my friends who are just coming in and they're like, hey, happy birthday!
And I'm like, stop! Slamming into people.
And then we get outside and there's a lineup. Mm-hmm. And yeah, one of my friends who I think she had surprised me.
By coming.
And
she was almost gonna get in after waiting.
She was like, what are you doing? And I was like,
getting thrown out?
Getting kicked out. Party's going elsewhere.
So we went somewhere else, got actually drunk, went back to Becky's place. I passed out, and Becky was worried I was dead because I was so silent until I farted, and then she was happy I was alive.
That was a different time.
Oh, okay. You can combine them. It's easier that way. Just rewrite your memory.
That's very easy to do.
Okay. That story, lol. All right, next from Grabble, from Eleanor on Turbo Chat. So this is Eleanor. Not my birthday, but my neighbor's. We were 6 or 7. He had something he really wanted to show everyone at the party. So he made us all go in his room and pulled out a huge plastic bucket from the corner under some toys. He opened the lid. It was full of pee. And he was so proud that he'd never had to go downstairs to pee at night. One of the kids told his mom, and he got spanked in front of the whole party.
Oh my god.
My mom discouraged me from hanging out with that kid after that. Oh my god, that is trauma.
That is serious trauma.
He was so proud that he'd come up with a great solution.
Yeah.
Look, guys, check this out. Everybody else walks down the stairs like a sucker. Why would you punish a kid for that?
Yeah, man.
You say you really shouldn't do that, and here's why. Don't do it again. Only if they do it a bunch of times do you start to punish them. If they defy you.
Yeah.
And who fucking tattled? Who's the piece of shit kid who tattles about that?
Crab was like, ooh. Not me, man.
You know, tattling is a weird concept because on one hand, like, you know,
that makes your tears go roundabout, right?
that power up.
Yeah.
Kids should tell on other kids because sometimes it's like if it's going
For
to be a
their safety
danger
or
if somebody's roughhousing and it needs to be broken up and nobody else can do it but an adult
yeah.
or something like that. But to tell on something you know they're gonna get like
Eleanor's story.
yeah, Eleanor.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, some kids are little jerks. From Downs 000. On my 10th birthday, we were visiting my aunt's house, not a birthday. They had a not a birthday party. Okay. It wasn't a birthday party, but we were visiting my aunt's on my 10th birthday. They had a German Shepherd named Otto, who wasn't too friendly with most people, which I didn't really understand because my dog was super friendly, so I wrongly assumed all dogs were. Anyway, Otto was eating from his bowl outside and I approached him from behind, causing him to react suddenly, and he bit me hard on my left armpit, breaking the skin and making me cry like a baby. I eventually forgave Otto.
Getting bit by dogs is so, like as a kid is just ruins your trust so much. You're like, why? What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I got bit by a dog in the face.
That's fucking crazy,
And
dude.
pictures of it with like these bite marks. It was my uncle's dog.
I got bit in the bum. And then my uncle was like, where did Mitzi bite you? Show me. And I was like, ooh.
I don't want to tell my uncle about my bum. Yeah, you get bitten by dogs for a living, but you're not a child, I don't think.
Psychotic biotic?
Yeah. Acid Silver says, for my 12th birthday, I wasn't expecting anything to happen because everyone was so busy at the time. But when I came home with my birthday, I heard. When I came home, with my mom, I learned that they were actually preparing a huge party for me. Despite not wanting a really big party, I was still glad that they went through all the effort of such a thing. My dad came back from a 3-month-long trip with 2 fake WWE title belts, each worth $500. What the?
Holy shit!
Overall, everything was great and I was having a fun time. Then I shit my pants in the middle of playing on my PlayStation. The worst part is that not only was the bathroom on the other side of the house, but I was wearing shorts as well. So I had to have my mom hold a towel. This is for real? You actually shit your pants? Randomly during your birthday? Why? Or on my lower body and slowly shimmy to the bathroom to get a new pair of pants and underwear.
Because they were having so much fun playing.
What made this happen? I thought it was a fart. Oh my god. Downs says, on my 10th birthday, we were visiting my aunt's house. Oh, shit. That's Otto again. Oh, Otto just moved it here. Alright, I see. Lionel Bro on Turbo 2. I remember.
God, this is taking so long.
I remember when my dad was getting me gifts, and he said, "What am I? Your worker monkey?" And I said, "Yeah, dance monkey." And then he smacked the back of my head. That sounds like Bart Simpson or something.
Yeah, I like it.
Why you?
Yeah, dance monkey.
Awkward Otter says, I went to a family friend's birthday party when he was about 7. It was an indoor play area with a lot of people around. He ended up needing to use the washroom and came running out, pants around his ankles, dick flapping around for all to see, yelling for his mom to wipe his butt for him.
Oh shit,
dude. It was a traumatizing event for all to see.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing part was I was 17 at the time. I mean, we all have 7-year-old friends at 17.
You made that part up.
No.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Oh my god, this comes with a fucking picture?
Ooh.
No fucking way. Alright, so a couple years ago my niece was turning 2 and I wanted to make a cake for her. I decided on chocolate cake in the shape of a dog. It took all day to make, but finally I had this little brown cake shaped like a sausage dog, lying down with its little legs and a candy collar. I was very proud of myself. The time came to bring out the cake and sing happy birthday to my beautiful little niece. As soon as she saw the cake, she screamed and burst into tears. We didn't end up eating it, but eventually she calmed down and waved at the cake. 2-year-old. I guess the sight of the little dog with candles in his bag was a little bit too much for the poor girl. Maybe I did too good of a job. Bonus pic attached. So there's the picture of this little girl.
Oh, she's crying so hard.
Traumatized little girl.
Oh my god, her face is red. Sweet looking cake though. Yeah. Oh.
Let's see if I can, it's a lot of steps for me to put this on the show, unfortunately. Yeah. But if you go to the Turbo 2, you can see it. Or the forums anyways. Oops. Just gotta get the thread back up here. All right. Flashpoint says, my favorite birthday, Ghostbusters 2 released just before my 9th birthday. We all dressed up as Ghostbusters, vacuum cleaners pretty much on our backs. But that was the most memorable. What was most memorable was finding out that my parents borrowed my uncle's station wagon and actually dressed it up like the Ecto 1. Wow.
Holy shit.
Instead of going to the theater, they detoured the Ecto and drove into the drive-in. Pulled up to find my other friends who decided not to come to my party, who I thought decided not to come to my party. They had already saved us a spot next to their own parents' cars. We ended up watching both Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Wow.
That is amazing.
That's amazing. That's incredible. And my best friend was dressed as Slimer. They then all chanted for me to catch Slimer. And when I was just about to put him into the trap, I shit my pants in front of everybody.
Best birthday ever.
Windia says, that's an amazing birthday. That's pretty great. Yeah, surprise birthday parties are great. They definitely can't happen every year. It has to be like a, every so often thing.
Like the one I threw for you.
Yeah, Becky once threw me a surprise party. It was pretty amazing. I didn't expect anything. We were just gonna make it casual, and she organized a lot of people to show up.
And it was before social media, so I had to find...
So it was fucking hard.
I had to somehow find his work
How
friends.
to contact my work friends.
Yeah.
She got a lot of people together that she didn't know, which was very impressive. It was very fun.
Yeah. We're old, dude. The fuck?
How old were we then? 23,
Where did we live?
22, maybe 21.
Where did we live? We lived
in Toronto.
So 20, probably 21.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Days go by. All right, Wendy's got a long one here. I hope this is worth it. When I was 8 years old, my mom started putting me in traditional clothes for family. What does that even mean? What do you mean, in traditional clothes? For gatherings at my grandma's house. It's a long, light dress. What's traditional clothes? Like traditional of a certain religion or traditional?
I just explained it's a long, light dress.
Yeah, but of what? Of your culture?
Yeah.
What are you?
What are you?
I hated it, so one day I decided not to wear underwear before heading to my grandma's house. My birthday was a couple days past, but it was celebrated there. While playing with the other kids.
I never wear underwear on my birthday.
I'm Arab. Okay. All right. So that helps. So it's traditional Arab garb that they always made her wear when going to grandma's house. While playing there, with the other kids, I didn't notice the glass partition between the dining room and the living room was only halfway open, and bam, I crashed into the side of it, cutting my forehead. I only started crying once. The blood covered my eye. My uncle scooped me up and rushed me to my mom. We lived across from grandma's. My mom was shrieking. My uncle's clothes were covered in blood, but all I cared about is that I didn't want anyone to find out I wasn't wearing underwear.
That's so funny.
Because they always say to wear clean underwear in case you get in an accident.
Literally, yes. Oh my god.
At the ER, they stitched it up despite my attempts to escape. They tried to change my clothes, but then I had to bring in Mom to tell her that I had no underwear on. She said something like, "Keep this troublesome no underwear child here then. She can't go out without underwear." Then left. I honestly believed her and was terrified, so I promised the nurses that I'll wear underwear starting today. Just please let me out. They just laughed and sent me out. My birthday was a couple days ago, and despite this incident happening way back in '95, it's still the first thing I think of on my birthday.
Oh my god.
Okay, that was worth the length. Good details.
Yes.
Just a cute side note here. When I got into the car with my parents, I noticed that the wrap they had around my head was bloody, but before I even voiced that, my mom complimented it, saying how much it looked like one of those turtles. How cool.
Oh my god, Mom.
Which was great because she generally didn't approve with my brother and my obsession with turtles.
Oh.
That's pretty funny. So, yeah, I'm Arab. What country do you live in? I'm not familiar with this garb. I know what, in Canada we have a lot of Sikhs who wear something kind of similar. White, long robes. It's my fave mum moment. You're like one of those turtles. How cool. How cool, honey.
My mom always puts S's on the ends of things. That's a mom thing to me. Like
Turtles.
Susie Shears.
The Googles.
Yeah. You gotta go to the Googles. Does anyone else's mom do that, or is that just mine?
It's a pretty common adult trope to put S's on the end of things
Why
that
do they
don't
do
need
that?
it.
Do Do I do
They
that?
don't know whether the thing they're referring to is plural or not.
Do I do that?
I don't know. You do a lot of things that your mom does.
I love my mom. I have no regrets.
The Nintendos.
I call that a laptop a lot.
She's always calling. I mean, I do have it set up like a laptop, I guess, but it's not a laptop. Linda. All right. Next up here. Guy Manley says, when I was in 2nd grade, my mother thought it was a great idea to hold my birthday party at the local McDonald's. This was rather common as the play area was a pretty nice indoor mini playground.
Nice.
She had neglected to remember that while she was my #1 fan, I might not have been the most popular kid. I invited every kid in my class, boys and girls. It took a lot of courage to pass out all the invitations. On the day of the party, only one kid from my class showed up. It was embarrassingly pathetic, and I never had an elementary school party again. Birthday party again. Interesting. I'm starting to think of how I think I may have remembered a time where a kid who I didn't really know well invited me to a party and I didn't go.
Really?
Because I just didn't fucking know this kid.
Yeah.
So I can kind of maybe sympathize, because like just because you've like you know the kid's name doesn't mean you want to go to their house.
Yeah.
I guess. Another one from Grabble. When I was a little kid, I had a favorite stuffed animal pig. Its name was Piggy. I had it for a long time, and it got really ragged down and worn. On my 6th birthday, my dad bought a new fluffy Piggy and decided to prank me by pretending we washed the old one. I immediately started bawling and saying, "That's not my Piggy. What did you do to him?" Realizing his mistake, immediately he told me that it was just a second Piggy and the old one was safe and sound and just as raggedy as always. Crisis averted. This is on her 6th birthday.
When I was little, this isn't a birthday thing?
One sec.
Okay.
Grabble, can you write out, "That's not my Piggy, what did you do to him"? Can you write that out in German for me so that I can say it, do an impression? Anyways, go ahead.
When I was little, I adored my sister Tracy. I still do, but she was like 12 years older than me and just so cool. But she went to college, university, and I was like destroyed. And so I had this picture of her in a pink frame with like frills around it, and I slept with it every night and held it on my chest. And I got like a new stuffed animal that year. It was like a dog, and I named it Tracy, and I'd cry every night. Sometimes I would like call for kisses for my family. I'd be like, "Mom, Dad, Lindsay, Denise, Tracy." Aww. And then I'd start crying.
Fucking littlest sibling attention hard. You knew she was missing. You probably did the whole thing as an act. I forgot she wasn't here. Yeah, you forgot she wasn't here. No, I'm sad. Yes, we know you're sad.
That's how it went down. I was
Yeah.
so sad. That's funny.
Grabble, I want you to write out.
Why do you want her to write it in German?
Not German, I meant Russian.
Grabble's not Russian.
Oh, this is Grabble, not Kulnara. Fuck me.
We love you.
It's still funny to imagine it happening to Kulnara.
That is funny.
It's funny. I think the reason I thought that is look at the thumbnail from a distance here.
Oh yeah.
She looks similar to Kulnara from a distance.
Yeah, it's true.
She's got the same cheekbones and sort of
Just
hair.
like a different color hair.
Different color hair. I think that's why I was convinced it was Kulnara.
You can still try.
Oi, Burger Boy, I'm Russian.
Burger boy.
Well, Kulnara, fucking humor me. Fucking tell me how that's said in Russian. I want to know. I want to hear. That's not my piggy. What did you do to it? All right. Yeah, Kulnara, get in here. Give me some fucking traumatizing Russian stories. We know that's where the real trauma is.
Yeah?
In the cold, desolate lands of Russia.
There it is.
Это не моя свинья. Это не моя свинья. It's funny to imagine it's Kulnara's childhood.
Yep. Okay.
My birthdays were fun, Kulnara says.
I already have amnesia. Joke's on you, stupid.
Well then, Kulnara, take the interesting life of Grabble and apply it to your own interesting accent. And then we'll actually have some entertainment here.
Are you hurting for entertainment, Fraser?
Yes. How's Becky been doing anyways in the game?
I died about 3 times, I think. I'm on my 3rd character.
Kulnara says, okay, I'm writing one. Alright, good. One time for my this is Gaming Kid again. One time for my 17th birthday. What did your life start at 17?
Who is this?
Gaming Kid. I'm convinced he didn't exist till he started watching the show. Well, I know he's been watching for a long time. Anyways. One time for my 17th birthday, I went to a burger restaurant with all my friends and the waitress asked me if I wanted a kids menu instead of a regular menu.
Oh,
Alright, that's
shit.
pretty good. All my friends couldn't stop laughing and my face was so red that I couldn't even speak because I was embarrassed. One of my friends eventually told me, the waitress, that it was my 17th birthday and she couldn't stop laughing too.
Oh, well, it's like, I don't know how many PAXs I asked SYT Yoshi if he was old enough to drink. And he's like, older than us.
Yeah, he's got one of those young looks.
Like so many friggin' times.
Reminds me of, what's his name? Is it Mikey?
Okay. Mikey McMuffin?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, fuck. The number of times he got carded at taxes.
The waitress started laughing.
Come on.
She's like, haha, my boyfriend's 17, but you look like my little brother. I'd never fuck you. You're just so little looking. Having sex with you would be gross. Even though my boyfriend's the same age and super hot. Okay, you can stop now. I'm just saying. I think he could probably beat you up really easily. Akiro Kami on Turbo 2 says, everyone in class was invited to the class braggart's birthday. He had been taught. Oh. He's a braggart. He's a piece of shit.
Gotcha.
He had been talking about he had a pet tarantula all year and no one believed him. So we came to see, guys, those of you who didn't get anybody to show up to your birthday, this is how you gotta sell it. You gotta get it like a hook. I got a pet tarantula. You don't believe me? Come to my fucking birthday, bitches. That's how you do it.
Sweet.
I'm the littlest one in the group, by the way, says Gaming Kid. All right, back to the story. All right, so nope, he actually did in fact have a tarantula. Several of the girls freaked out and even left the party because they couldn't handle being around the tarantula. I can't recall anyone ever doubting him since then. Now he just has carte blanche on making up anything he wants. He's a regular Cliff Clavin of the class from that day forward.
Oh, come on.
You know, my tarantula just got accepted MIT. It's true.
Oh, Cliff.
All right, Ocean Storm says, in kindergarten, my friend was celebrating her birthday and invited me and another girl to go to the American Girl doll store in New York City.
God. Wow.
How long has that brand been around?
Yeah. Probably forever.
I only recently found out about it because maybe are they making like a coming up to Canada?
Maybe.
Is that why we found out about it recently? I don't know. The American Doll store was a multiple level and mainly used escalators to get to the other levels. As our escalator was leaving the top level of the store to go to the main level, I put one foot onto the escalator step. The escalator was moving too fast, though, and immediately caused me to move without having my second foot in the escalator step. All right, we get it. That's really detailed. Somehow, I ended up in a split position with one foot on the step in front of me and the second step further behind me. Eventually, when I reached the steeper portion of the escalator, I lost my balance and started to tumble down the rest of the escalator. When I reached the bottom, people started to surround me and several were trying to console me due to cutting and hurting my legs. The birthday group made it down the level where a worker from the store brought a wheelchair and brought us to a more private area. Another worker heard about the incident and had a free goodie bag for our whole group prepared to keep trying we were okay and making sure we wouldn't sue. My mom mentioned how fast the escalator was moving to a worker, saying that they think it was moving fast due to the volume of people that visit the store. For at least 2 years after the incident, I refused to ride an escalator. To this day, I still have mild fear of escalators.
Aww.
I mean, they're kind of, we put a lot of trust in that shit,
Yeah.
that it works.
Same with the elevators.
I remember at PAX recently, the whole escalator all of a sudden just dead stopped.
Yep.
Bam! Just dead stop. And like everybody almost went like, and it was full, and everybody almost like, it was almost a huge chain reaction of people tumbling down the escalator.
Actually, since then, I hold on to the rail. I never did before because I was like, ew, so many people touch that. But now I like, hold on. That was pretty scary.
Nerdina Can says, when I was 5, I believe we were going to a birthday party, the same friends as before, I forget the other story. It was the Wizard of Oz theme, so everyone dressed as characters. I was the lion. My dad had spent a long time doing my lion makeup and my costume was handmade.
Aww.
We entered the party and everyone was scared of me, so I ran to the bathroom and made my dad remove the makeup and bring some other clothes.
Oh, it was too good.
Russian story submitted. Good. That's cute. K16 says, on my 7th birthday, I invited 8 classmates to my house who all seemed excited and promised to be there. Only 3 showed up, so out of 8. Only 3 showed up and got my name wrong. The 3 that did come got your name wrong? But remembered that I had an NES with decent games, so they hogged the system, ate our food, and gave my parents gave me presents consisting of broken toys and old shirts from home. Who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, how are they disorganized?
3 separate kids forgot your name from different households?
Yeah.
And all 3 brought you old toys? Are you sure this wasn't 3 kids from one house and one family? Well, I did get one purchased present. It was a tombstone candle that said Happy R.I.P. At least they have some nice memories of playing my NES. And no, I didn't get to play during my own birthday, and then I randomly pooped myself, as per tradition.
Jeez, man.
Miss Fable says, so my 20th birthday was during a work conference thing, and a few of my coworkers and I decided to go out for dinner. We got there and one of our managers in training looked at the menu and immediately threw a fit. She was so upset that the menu didn't have any food that she wanted to eat. This is on your birthday.
Oh my god.
And your coworker threw a fit. So we planned on where to eat before, and she knew the restaurant, so it didn't make any sense that she was complaining now. I offered we could go somewhere else, but she insisted that we stay. I wanted to be there, because I wanted to be there. Rest of the meal, it was so awkward, and after we left, one of my coworkers went up to me and said she can't wait till she's fired.
Did she get fired?
Did she get fired?
What a dick.
That's amazing. Yeah, if you didn't hear, guys, we're accepting birthday stories from any age if they're funny, and especially if they were... I want nice birthday stories from only childhood, because I don't give a shit if you had a recent nice birthday.
Yeah, and then she came back.
Oh my god.
It's a crazy story about that.
But if it's a embarrassing or traumatizing story from your adulthood, or especially drunken story from birthday party, we'll accept that today as is the theme.
Because it's my birthday. What are we gonna have for our birthday dinner, Fraser? What'd you make me? Did you buy me a cake?
I didn't.
Oh.
We're having your birthday celebration on the weekend, right?
Yes.
But I'm not buying you anything then either.
As per usual, Fraser.
We never buy each other birthday presents.
No, we don't. But we went out yesterday and it was quite lovely.
Yes, Becky got some flapjacks.
What the fuck's a flapjack?
Pancake. But our American audience doesn't understand the things. They need to hear it in their language. Flapjack.
Guys, do you call them fucking flapjacks?
Yeah.
I also got eggs Benedict. And the bacon tasted like North American fucking bacon. It was so good. But it was a little expensive.
It was one of them Grand Canyon sized flapjacks, you hear?
Fraser, I think they say that they don't actually call them flapjacks.
What do you call them then?
Pancakes. Gotta have them flapjacks. Fraser, maybe actually though, maybe we could get ramen.
Oh, Becky loves ramen.
Yes.
And I'll watch you eat the ramen.
Yes. You can eat your fucking vegetables beside me. It's fine.
Do you think they have another side dish that I could eat? Besides the sprouts and like just another little thing? I don't know what they might have.
No. You can eat the extra hodenso.
I love hodenso.
I had never had ramen until...
You never had ramen?
We had never had ramen until that place in Vancouver. Like, it was probably only like 4 years ago.
Here's how you make some ramen. Get some spaghetti noodles. Beef bouillon. Mix it up in a bowl. Eat it. There's your ramen.
Get the fuck out of our house. What's wrong with you? On my birthday.
I just want to give them some culture. Not everybody has access to a good ramen shop.
You legit tried ramen yesterday? How'd you like it? Japanese pancakes are amazing. Well, you can get regular pancakes here from like konbini or whatever, but
Telling them about okonomiyaki.
yeah, you can get okonomiyaki, which means like yaki, which is like fried, and okonomi is like how you like, what you like. So you can basically put anything in it, but it's like savory, and it's like
It's almost never
cabbage.
sweet. I mean, it's got sweet sauce on it, but it's a meal, not a dessert, right?
It is a fucking meal. So it's like tons of cabbage, but then also like a flour base with egg, and you can put, again, whatever you like. So I like to put some like bacon down and cheese. And
The batter
you
is
can get kimchi ones.
much more egg-based than it is flour-based.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
way more like, in fact, I think you could easily make okonomiyaki with just egg. And it would still look like...
Cabbage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it would still
maybe.
look like most people's...
It's not like crepes. It's like they get thick, and you fry it on one side, and then flip it, and then fry the other side, and then you put the like Japanese mayo on it and okonomiyaki sauce, which is like
a molasses type of sauce.
Sweet. And then you put bonito flakes, like fish flakes on top, and some ginger. Oh, fuck yeah. And then you cut it up and you eat that in your face.
Insanely rich. It's too much. Like a few bites and I'm done. It's just too rich.
It's definitely, we can share one.
Yeah. It's very dense, very heavy.
Yeah.
Satisfying, you know, if you're craving that type of heavy, rich, savory meal.
This ain't good. Thinking about okonomiyaki.
All right, so Kulnara's Soviet Russia birthday story. Okay. This was my friend's birthday party. Her friends were ballet teachers, so they had the party at their ballet studio. It was great because it was huge 3-story building to run around and play hide and seek in. This is so Soviet Russia. Is it like, picturing it's abandoned and it's just like concrete with broken windows and shit.
it?
I know that's not what Russia's like. But I picture everything in Russia is just always like the only experience I've had in Russia, which is like Call of Duty 2. We ran for hours and kept coming back to drink the soda and water. We don't usually get water, but on birthday is special time, so... soon they ran out of...
Very nice, says Kulnara.
Soon they ran out of drinks, and in Russia, you don't drink tap water. You drink vodka. So they were all out of breath and thirsty at the birthday girl's mom had a brilliant idea to pour us all cups of pickle juice. What the fuck? We all drank the salty juice, and of course it was the best birthday I'd ever had. She says, of course, it made it worse.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So we just sat there for the rest of the party and ate cake. Cake made of pickles. Pickles and the dead donkey from last week.
Poor Kulnara.
I just love the idea of Kulnara. I don't know, it really makes me laugh because Kulnara just doesn't fit at all the image of any Russian that I expected. You know, like with a fluffy hat, hardened, cold personality, you know, all bundled up and stuff.
Not very Kulnara, no.
Long beard. Like, but you meet her and she's so sweet and cute.
Ooh, brass knuckles. Give it to me.
On birthday, we finally get to eat donkey. All year waiting, saying, when do we get to eat donkey? Mother will not tell me date of my own birthday, so I have no idea. We only know when we get older when we eat a donkey.
God.
Sometimes 3 years will pass before birthday. Because no donkey available.
Oh, Fraser.
For my 18th birthday, my friends and I decided to go bowling. Things were going pretty well. This is from Acid Silver. Kulnara. Donkey. Things were going pretty well until one of my friends threw the bowling ball before the bowling pins were reset and accidentally broke the machine that put them back into place. You know, if that system's so fucking fragile, come on. Because of this, I had to pay for the damage. Oh,
what?
Fuck you! So I had to use the birthday money I got. What?
Oh,
I eventually got over it, but remind him. No. I still remind him about it every once in a while. It's not his fault. It wasn't your fault, and nobody should have paid for that.
Yeah, but you guys were probably there alone and didn't know.
How old? You were 18? Son,
Don't need to
that's a
pay
life
for that.
lesson right there.
Yeah.
You walk away and say, fix your fucking place where
That's your
throwing the
problem.
bowling ball at the wrong time breaks your fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Did I say that's your time? That's your fault.
That's on you.
God damn it.
How are you doing? You're up against Gluttony? This is Mom's favorite kid.
Really?
She fed him the most.
A little too much, though. Are you guys feeling spooky?
I was too much of a pussy to speak up, unfortunately, says Addison Silver.
I know what that's like. I go through phases of speaking up for myself and not. My mom's a fucking hard ass, so I learned from her that you should speak up for yourself, but I'm also very shy, so sometimes it's tough. Oops.
All right, not exactly traumatizing, but birthday related, says DSKTY. And somewhat tragic in its own way. Due to poor planning, I ended up not having a 21st birthday. I was on a plane that crossed through time zones and basically lost an entire day and ended up
and it was
landing.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
That you missed?
Ended up landing the morning after my birthday. I didn't even get to celebrate with a drink on the plane because I had the wrong currency.
Aw, shit.
Fat Boy Matty G says, for my friend's birthday, we went to a bowling alley where they served alcohol. 3 of my friends got super drunk and started throwing the bowling balls overhand down the alleys and screaming at the top of their lungs. The management, for some reason, didn't kick them out. They told them to settle down and brought them another pitcher of beer.
What? Why would they do that? Settle down with more beer.
Okay, eventually my friends started ripping off each other's sleeves till their shirts were just hanging out of their torso. The management came back and told them that if they didn't put on real shirts, they'd have to leave. Classic Alberta. Yeah, that's a lot of patience from the staff right there.
Oops, shit.
All right, guys, I think we're gonna take a quick break, stretch out, maybe get a snack. We'll be back with more stories. I'll let people come up with more birthday stories since that's our preference today. We got to the bottom of that thread. Once we run out of birthday stories, we can move on to maybe just general stuff,
All right.
childhood trauma. All right, guys.
Are we having a good Becky birthday?
Happy birthday, Becky! We'll be back celebrating Becky's birthday after this. Hey, buddies, welcome back to the annual Binding of Isaac.
It's my favorite show of the entire year.
Group therapy, Binding of Isaac, traumatizing childhood stories. Lots of pants pooping. Not enough getting embarrassed in front of girls you like, though.
Yeah, those are fun
those
for
are
boys.
a huge preference of mine. Yeah, or boys. Whatever you were,
Like the time I
whatever
kicked
was most embarrassing for you.
dude in the store in the stomach at karate, and then I didn't like him anymore.
See, you keep telling this story that was embarrassing for him. Becky
Yeah.
kicks a guy in the stomach at karate practice. He farts because she kicked him in the stomach. And then she really liked him before, and then she stopped liking him.
Yeah.
Because she's every girl that was ever that age.
Yeah. Poor little Mark. I think that was his name.
I'm pretty sure Katie in our school had a crush on me when we were younger. And invited me to see her horses,
Of course.
her horse show. Spent a day with her. Had no idea why I was doing this. I didn't know she liked me.
Oh my
I
god.
was just like, what?
Cute.
What are we doing? And then I was excited for the end of the day because when we went back to her house,
You want to play video games?
her dad wouldn't let me play. He was really into video games, and he was just, I just watched him. He was doing some like
And they had
grinding.
the best systems.
He was doing some grinding in Secret of Mana, like grinding some
Really?
items or something at this one point. So I was watching this guy. I wanted to see some cool gameplay, and all I saw was the same, and doing the same thing, leaving the screen, coming back to the guys to respawn, and hitting him a bunch, leaving, coming back, hitting him a bunch.
Oh my god.
So that was pretty boring. But finally, we went in the pool. But then after changing or whatever, I had a change of underwear, and I left my underwear laying on the floor at the front of the house.
That's so unlike you, Fraser.
It fell out of my bag, so it was sitting there as I getting my shoes on. I'm like, oh, there's my underwear, and I grab it and I put it away. Just a little bit embarrassed, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
But then I saw her just like staring where it was, and then like she basically didn't really talk to me that much, nearly as much after.
Really?
We used to like bond about Goosebumps. We were reading all the Goosebumps constantly and stuff, and like I'm pretty sure she kind of fell out of love with me when she saw my underwear laying on the ground. I think.
Me underwear.
My little tighty whities.
Oh.
I think they're blue.
Oh. Little blue tighty whities.
I mean, don't cry for me. I didn't even know, nor did I care, really. I didn't. My crush was on my teacher at the time. So, don't worry about that. Now, if my teacher had seen my undies, oh man, that would have been traumatizing.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I had convinced, like, I think that maybe her dad wanted to get rid of me, like, because I was just hovering. He's like, you want to borrow a game? You can choose from those there, or whatever. And I, like, chose SimCity. He's like, sure, I don't give a fuck about that one. Like, so I borrow SimCity. And then I'm so obsessed with SimCity after that I'm going to school, like, drawing out on graph paper my plans for, like, my next city and stuff. And I remember constantly telling, because it came from her house, I was always giving her updates on my new strategies in SimCity. And she was like, she literally said that. She says, yeah, I don't really know or care about SimCity. I don't play that.
She was one of my best friends.
I think she was saying, like, you don't have to tell me everything you think of in that game or something like that.
God.
And I remember at that point realizing, oh, I guess the love is gone.
Oh my god.
The love is gone.
Yeah, she was totally one of my best friends whenever...
She was a really sweet person.
Yeah, and that's what makes this sort of surprising.
Love is harsh, things. Man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
Love is blind. All right. Just gonna... All right, we have one more in this thread here, it looks like. Cybearman says, during my friend's 12th birthday, we were playing at a local park and jumping off the fire pole drop. When I jumped to get away from the imaginary explosion, I hit the ground so hard that 3 pieces of pea gravel penetrated the softer skin of my knee. Ah. My friend, what the fuck is pea gravel?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm picturing it the size of peas, which really makes that sound painful. My friend helped me limp home, and we later had a nurse remove them.
Oh God.
The ending to the day, we both got to watch Sixth Sense for the first time later that night. You were 12 and you watched Sixth Sense, though?
That's fine, isn't it?
That's a spook. That's the end of our birthday thread, so I'll check back later to see if people put any more in here. But for now, I'm going to move back over to our normal thread, I suppose.
Gravel somebody peed on.
Okay, another Miss Fable story. When I was 12, I had a crush on a guy in my class. One day during PE, that's physical education, I think.
Yeah.
Our teacher had us do a mini game of soccer out on the field. I played soccer growing up, so I used to play it a lot. He was on the opposite team as me, and he was a goalie. I was offense, and at some point I kicked the ball pretty hard and it accidentally hit his crotch. He landed on the ground and was crying in pain. Yeah, guys will do that.
I know, it's like, ew.
I remember everyone stopping and the PE, this is probably physical education teacher, trying to help him get to the nurse's office. I was so embarrassed and knew he probably wanted to avoid me after what I did. And sure enough, afterwards, he was pretty scared to be near me. Because she hit the ball into his crotch during PE class.
Why are you such a weirdo?
Lino Bro, I don't know, it's probably my childhood. Lino Bro says, when I was 10 in Kelowna, what a funny place, like Timbuktu.
Oh shit!
Or like Seattle. When I was 10 in Kelowna, I fell on some really sharp rocks that stopped right into my knee, stabbed right into my knee. I don't think I ever cried as much as I did on that day. I still have the scar to this day. And speaking of Kelowna, a few years later, my wrist was squished between two metal poles on a double C swing. Thankfully, my wrist fared better than my knee. After those two events, I never went back to Kelowna. Simply because if I went there, I'd probably die. Says Lionel Bro. Lionel Bro's got a great Turbo Buddy avatar.
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
It's cute.
I have scars on my toes from barnacles. Huh, we're knee buddies now.
You are a good buddy. I'm gonna put you on top of my lap, pal.
Oh, damn.
Alright.
Oh, God, I hate these ones.
I made a pretend court system to settle squabbles in our neighborhood kid group.
Who is this?
Ingezo. This is a new Turbo to me.
I like it.
Ingezo.
Oh my God, are you a lawyer now?
I made a pretend court system to help settle squabbles in our neighborhood kid group. It was extremely unfair. I was both judge and prosecutor, while the kid we all had a problem with went defenseless and had to sit on the floor as me and the jury sat atop his head.
Dude, that's fucking brutal.
Wait, sat atop the bunk bed.
Oh.
Which his head was under. I drew pictures of the evidence against them, and I can't think of a case that I didn't end in a chorus of guilty, guilty, guilty.
Oh my God.
Then a girl accused me of stealing her lip gloss, and I was cast down from my mob mongering. Justice.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, are you a girl? Knowing the gender ahead of time really helps put context to these things. If a boy does it, it's like, he's kind of like, it feels, for whatever reason, it feels like the boy is like trying to create like a cool court, like, you know, I've got this system and this book of laws and stuff. If a girl does it, I immediately assume
It's catty.
catty.
Like, no, which is
let's judge her, girls. Like.
Also, yes, we need to know if you're a lawyer now.
Yeah.
Shit. What the hell am I doing? Not paying attention, that's what.
Like, what is it? What do you think it is that makes girls and boys act different? Like, sometimes you can say society makes things happen, like they play into roles, but there are some gender things that are just different. The way they socially, like, interact and stuff. Part of it, some of it has to do with, I think, boys. What makes boys naturally dumber? They take so long to catch up to girls. Girls are usually more intelligent, and boys are usually stupid.
Media?
Do you think that's society, making boys dumber?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you think hormones make you smarter quicker? That's the opposite of what is true. Hormones make you stupider.
Yeah.
If anything, the logic should go, girls, if their hormones are hitting them quicker, they should get dumber quicker. Because we all know that once you hit, by the time you're in high school, you're basically reverted to caveman state. There's nothing in your head but fucking and sucking.
And eating.
And maybe eating, and then eating, and getting eaten.
You're making me uncomfortable on my birthday.
You think boys attach to their dads so kids try to emulate what they see but only looking obvious physical traits. You think so boys try to be stupid because their dads are stupid? Like, so they're just emulating stupidity, but they're not actually dumb?
But my daddy's smart.
Maybe that could be, maybe. Yeah, my dad I always thought was intelligent, and I wanted to be intelligent because of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just that you can't use a blanket statement to classify an entire genre anymore. Akira Okami says, post withdrawn by author. Okay. Gaming Kid says, when I was 10, I remember I wanted to prank and annoy my brother by spilling water on his head. I got some water on him and ran into the hallway, but this is where karma bites me in the ass. I slipped onto some dog pee, slid down the highway and hit my hip onto my door, which caused me to get 4 stitches in my hip.
Aww.
He wanted to spill water on his on his brother's head to prank him, but instead he slipped in dog pee.
Aww.
I guess if you just like left well alone, it would have been him to step in the dog pee. That would have been a prank. Ha ha! That could have been me, but I chose to stay in my room. Slams the door.
These have been some boring ass runs with charge shots and like.
I guess that's actually one thing. If girls develop quicker than boys earlier, then once they start to realize that they're like forming into an adult, they're leaving their kid form behind. That triggers something in your head to start getting a little bit more serious about your life and put aside kid things, thinking I'm not a kid anymore because I'm clearly, physically, optically not that child anymore. Maybe that's what it is. They just start to get serious quicker.
Yeah, maybe.
Where maybe the boys can be as intelligent, but they're still like they haven't moved on to the next mode yet. So why would they? They're still watching SpongeBob and
SpongeBob.
You know, the SpongeBobs.
SpongeBob wasn't around until we were way past that.
I don't hear you, Fraser. I'm too busy fucking and sucking. Yeah, those are the days. I'm 37 and cried over the My Little Pony finale.
When was that?
Boobs make you smart, apparently. Well, you got all those extra neurons and mammorons in there. Lupu says, hardly traumatizing, but my older sister used to play tricks on me. One time, she went through a phase where she would dress me up and stage fashion shoots sometimes in plastic bag dresses she made for me. I didn't want to do it, but she said that the photos would be sent to a magazine if I didn't.
Oh my god. Aww.
No. She said that those photos would be sent to a magazine, so I got excited. I like the idea that it's like leverage.
Yeah, I like that.
I would spend these afternoons doing fashion shoots for her, but I noticed that the camera didn't flash or make any noises. She told me it was a special camera and that it was silent and didn't want to disturb wildlife. Or something like that. Aww. Wait, Lupu, are you a boy or a girl?
Boy.
That's great. Obviously, she was bullshitting me and she just making me dress up for nothing. I'm still bitter about it. Before I was born, she used to dress up the cat in little clothes, and my mom sewed for her too.
Aww.
Oh, Lupu's a girl. Okay.
Oh, a girl? Really?
I like both versions.
That's so confident. Oh, fuck. I thought IMR would take me somewhere else.
Alright. RTH says, more of a funny one than an embarrassing one. But when I was about 3, my parents took me to a showing of The Little Mermaid. It was the first time they took me to see movies in theaters. Too young to remember, but according to my parents, when Ursula first showed up on screen, I got out of my seat and said, okay, I think I'm about to get scared. And walked out of the theater. Needless to say, they had to follow me out and we went home.
Okay, I think I'm about to get scared. Oh my god. I adore that one.
Fucking loser.
Do, do, do.
That's representative of today's generation, not his.
I think that one's my favorite.
Did you end up getting scared? People demand to know. Did you get scared?
Fucking left. Who knows?
Next up, Acid Silver says, in 3rd grade, I was messing around with some friends during lunchtime by throwing pieces of food at each other. I thought an apple that accidentally hit a part of a friend's plate, which ended up getting his food everywhere. The teacher, who was known for being a huge bitch, saw this happening and without listening to me saying it was an accident, yelled at me and forced me to spend the rest of the lunchtime picking up all the trash in the lunchroom. I cried the whole time. 3rd grade. Ouch. Grabble said, Akira Okami on Turbo Toot. This is Akira Okami's story. First day of junior high school, a note was being passed around class. It came to me, and I passed it on, only for it to be given back to me. It was the first time I'd ever been passed a note meant for me, so I kind of panicked and threw it in the trash without ever even looking at it. The note was from the cutest girl in class.
What?
I was asked after class why I threw it in the trash, and I said because passing notes in class is against class rules. I never found out what it said. Wow, dude. Wow. She hit the bottle pretty hard after that. I hear she works at the racetrack now. Cool Cruise on Turbo Toot says, this is a Halloween story.
I hate that voice.
I can't remember what age I was, but I was pretty young. One Halloween, it was like any other Halloween. Me and my sister would dress up and go trick-or-treating over in my uncle's neighborhood. After that, we would go back home and trick-or-treat in my neighborhood. Well, that year, my dad and his best friend decided to dress up, and when we got home, my dad dressed up in one of my mom's dresses and some makeup, some of her makeup. It looked bad, and it was an embarrassing Halloween. So, it was your dad and his best friend dressed up in your mom's clothes with makeup. That might have been more than your dad's friend. I'm gonna put that theory out there. Halloween was the one time of year where they could do it openly.
Maybe.
Because it was Halloween, so they didn't have to hide that one year. It was a magical time they would both never forget.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of them, and it's the funniest shit. Can you send me? I won't show it on show if you don't want. I just want to see it. So we can get my reaction. You could, how could you do that? I guess you could DM on Twitter, or you can email. Only if you want, of course. But your turbo ship's on the line. Acid Silver says, during summer break, me and my family went to visit a family in another country, which ended with us living with some family friends during the whole thing. One night, I was woken up by everyone crowding around my room near where I was sleeping, but I was too tired to really care what was happening. The next morning, I was complaining to my sister that everyone woke me up and being general dick about it. Turns out everyone was crowding around my room because the grandmother of the family had died in her sleep.
It felt like it was going there. Oh god.
Oh my
gosh.
That's a big, don't go there. Okay, cool, Cruise.
Damn.
Grabble says, when I was 9 years old, me and two of my friends got the idiotic idea to go on an adventure in the woods behind our school during recess. The woods were off limits, but we ignored this. We sharpened sticks for some reason and snuck out when the teachers weren't looking. After 15 minutes of climbing trees, one of my friends suddenly yelled, "My shoe fell in the thorn bushes!" At that moment, the bell rang. So in classic kid fashion, we just dragged just shrugged and abandoned our poor shoeless buddy.
Kids are such dicks. Every man for himself! The bell rang!
Yeah,
I mean,
love that.
I would do it too. For sure.
Fat Boy Matty G says, when I was in the 9th grade, a kid in my class stole a key to the computer lab. The next day, the principal came into my class and grilled the class to give up the kid who stole it. I foolishly looked back at the kid to see his reaction. The principal saw, and she dragged me out into the hallway to question me further. I told her that I didn't know what she was talking about because I didn't want to get branded as a snitch. She didn't believe me and took me to her office where she continued to grill me, even threatening to call my mom and then expel me. Oh, wow. What an overreach of fucking authority. Yeah. A few hours later, I snapped and said, this is fucking ridiculous. I don't even know why the hell I'm here. And then she suspended me for 3 days out of school. That school sucked. Yeah, wow. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You have to remember what the psyche of a teacher is. Many of them are damaged.
It's so hard because a lot of the times when you're in school, you're a kid, right? You don't think of them as they're teachers.
Yeah.
They aren't people in your head.
The teachers are stuck in this reverted state of childhood in their heads, and they're still there, except now they're in charge.
I have friends who are teachers and family members.
But even the ones that are well-meaning, I think, get into a weird void. They start to get into this echo chamber loop of making things out to be more...
They do get kind of stuck
more dramatic and more important than they are.
Yeah.
Not remembering this is a childhood. This is just children. Who really cares?
It's their childhood.
But it's the work they go to every day, so they get really caught up in it and get it overblow it. I think is the problem. Even if some of them mean well, I think they eventually. Whoa! Did you end?
I died.
I thought you were better than that.
Why not? Guys, I want fun.
Kids think of adults as infallible. The thing I keep on thinking is, how do you teach a kid to be respectful of older people? Because they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but to also realize that they don't always deserve respect just by virtue of being an adult.
Yeah.
Sometimes they deserve to lose your respect.
Yeah.
But where do you teach them where that line is? And not to be a little cunt to adults just because it's my parents said I shouldn't respect you just because you're an adult.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it took until I was paying for my own education to realize that I could really question what they were teaching and how they were spending the time I was paying for. I was really critical then of I guess the education that I was receiving because I was paying for it. And I was don't, in high school, I would love it whenever teachers would fuck around and watch movies or whatever during class. But if they ever did that in college or university, I was fuck you, I can watch this on my own time. What are you doing for me right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, for a lot of people, it'll take until they get out of school and start working next to adults that they start to see adults as equals, where they're their co-workers.
That too, yeah. Working with adults. Kind of getting on a similar level as them, I guess.
Paying your own rent for the first time helps.
Mm-hmm. Realizing where your money...
I think that may be the reason why some adults don't actually become adults till they're well graduated out of school and don't start to really think about life the right way until they're paying real rent. And then even then, some of them never even end up having to do that for a while.
You might be insulting some people.
I'm not saying that immediately makes you immature.
Yeah.
I'm saying it can, though, it can slow down, I think, for some people, perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody's devoid of that perspective, of good perspective, just because they get parents are beneficiaries for longer than some other people. But I think it can prevent some people from waking up.
I think it really friggin' woke me up whenever I had to start paying for my own shit.
Paying rent basically the day after my 18th birthday, because I moved out and started paying rent for it, like that definitely grew me up quick.
Yeah. You learned to get a girlfriend who would clean your bathroom so it wouldn't piss your roommates off.
Thank you. I didn't make you. Kazuki on Turbo Toot says, one Easter a neighbor dressed in a bunny costume and came around our house. I think I was too young to understand what was going on, so I freaked out and cried. Poor neighbor guy probably felt bad about that.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Perv.
I want this one.
Sincerity says, you guys aren't wrong. I teach freshman level of university courses, and sometimes I still get students raising their hands and asking to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Wow.
Wow. It's innocence, I guess. It's just...
Yeah.
Ignorance isn't always actively ignorant. Some people are, though. Ikiro Kami on Turbo 2. I have a college professor who genuinely won't let you leave unless you raise your hand. You're an adult and you're paying for the education.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, what's the benefit of that? That's just a pain in the ass for...
That just makes a disruptive thing way more disruptive. That could have been not disruptive at all. Alright. Akira Kami says, not a birthday story, but I was walking home from a Helly Hansen full bodysuit thing? What the fuck is going on here?
Helly Hansen full body thing. You don't know what that is?
I was still 20-ish minutes away from home when I was at the point that I couldn't hold it anymore. I tried to open the zipper and couldn't pee, and the zipper had frozen, and I just peed in the suit. And it was so much like I felt it was wading through water the entire time on the way home.
Oh, no.
It also became quite cold and stiff when the pee started to freeze. Can somebody tell me what a Helly Hansen is?
What the fuck? As in ski gear?
Ski gear? Helly Hansen? Is this a regional thing? Is this like
Gotta be like a brand that we...
Is this a British thing? Like,
I was walking home in my Helly Hansens when the hoover went off that I was keeping in my knickers.
Yes, it's a brand.
The buggered thing was in reverse, so it started to inflate the Helly Hansen to comical proportions. The lads and chaps did have a laugh. They found that I couldn't hold on to my curds and whey any longer. So up they came all over the Helly Hansen and everything and everyone.
does that about cover it?
All this on the Queen's Jubilee.
And Kid on Turbo Toot.
Oh, I know Helly Hansen.
Helly Hansen is a Norwegian producer of textiles and gears for sports and work on the ocean and the mountains, headquartered in Oslo, Norway, so it's a Norwegian thing.
Ah, maybe you should get out more, Fraser.
Hey, I went to Norway.
No, you didn't.
Where'd I go then?
Finland.
Same exact literal place.
Oh dear.
Ian Kid on Turbo Toot. One Xmas at our grandparents' house. They have a second house there that I was in alone. Okay. Your grandparents have a second house? At their house? Just a second house? I'm at my grandma's house. Can I go to the second house? Yeah, go for it, but you're going alone. All right.
My uncle Jim has
I guess I have my own house in the same property?
Yes.
What the fuck? Alright.
And he has an apple orchard and a huge barn.
Must be nice. There was some chocolates on the table, so I snuck one. I ended up having
Getting super high.
I ended up having ground nuts of some kind. And at the time having extreme aversion to nuts. The texture alone triggered this, and I threw up all over the kitchen there. I walked out to the main house in the cold and reported what happened.
Aww.
Grandma, Papa, I puked in house number 2. Usually I only go number 2 there.
Yeah, it's the poop house.
The poop house.
You kids gotta use the bathroom? Go to the poop house. I don't want to be smelling anything at number 1 house. This is number 1 house. You remember that. It's only for grandpa poops.
Oh, luckily I have a bomb left. I feel blessed.
From Eleanor.
But that was a number 3. Where are you number 3 around here?
What's the on Big Mouth, latest season of Big Mouth? He has numbers that go up to like 23 for combinations of bodily fluids. From Eleanor. Oh, I remember a non-birthday pee story. 5 years ago, I was on the family vacation at the beach. I had to pee, but I was afraid of peeing in the ocean, so my aunt made my 2 teenage cousins take me back to the condo. It took forever for the elevator to come, and by the time I got to the bathroom, I peed all over the floor and my cousins. And my cousins.
I know what that's like. I peed on all my sister's boyfriends.
And my cousins is in brackets, like they were a second thing. No, the story is I got to the bathroom and I peed all over my cousins.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, some ended up on the floor.
Yes.
But the point is, you peed on your cousins. While my cousins were trying to get my swimsuit off. All right, I started laughing and my younger cousin started to cry.
I like that you laugh.
A 5-year-old laughing as they peed.
I can't say I don't know if I ever laughed. Oh my god. Like, if I were to picture my childhood, it would be sitting at the dinner table, someone saying, Becca, do you have to pee? And being like, no, but like my foot's like up my crotch, and so they're like, okay, and so they like go over to the chair.
Well, what you mean by foot up your crotch? You would use the heel of your foot to like put pressure there.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and then they'd pick me up, and often my foot would stay there. I'd hold my foot there, and then they'd carry me to the bathroom, and then just like pee all over the floor all the way to the bathroom. That is like the image of my childhood. It's
pretty rough. And now you got superpowers in Binding of Isaac that are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Kazuki on Turbo 2 says, when I was a kid, I got a hold of some scissors and went to town on my bangs. My mom took me to get a haircut, and for some reason the hairdresser assumed I was a boy, so I ended up with a rat tail sort of hair, except for like a strand in the back. Oh, it's telling me what a rat tail is. My mom was mortified, and I wore a lot of hats for a while.
You just cut the rat tail off.
Yeah, really, I don't get it. It's like, oh my god, that rat tail.
It's so horrible. I'm not a hairdresser. I can't cut that off.
We'll have to wait for you to grow into it.
The rest of your hair must grow.
That offensive rat tail. Okay. Nuclear Gamer.
When did I gain bladder control? When I was 12. I spent a lot of time at Sick Kids Hospital. It was fucking terrible.
Because of infections.
Yeah. My bladder didn't grow as fast as my body. It was horrible going to sleepovers and being like, I'm gonna pee the bed. And I'm fucking pee the bed.
Yeah, it sucks not to have any control of that.
Yeah, man.
And
when you're like 10?
I'm hoping we're finally at a time where we can grow away from the shame of it, like that this is a kid's fault. Like they're not doing enough to stop it.
It never felt like it was my fault. which is good.
And you know my mom, she wouldn't have made my brother had that issue.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have made him feel like that.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up thinking like I wouldn't say anything about it or acknowledge it, but I'd just like, oh man, like, you know, I wouldn't think good of him about it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think that like, you know, that it was like poor him, he's got that problem. I would think like, man, dude, figure that shit out. You know, sort of thing.
My poor sister, we shared a bed, so she would go to bed knowing
I'm
my
gonna get
sister's
peed
gonna
on.
pee on me tonight. And I'd like want to cuddle with her. I always wanted to cuddle, and she's like, Becca, no.
I'm surprised your family didn't just give you guys extra rooms, like
We didn't have extra room.
basement.
You're gonna put anyone in the basement.
Why not? Oldest sister goes to the basement.
So yeah, why not?
She'd love that. Gets her own giant room, more privacy.
It wasn't finished. I don't know. We're fine. It's cool.
I don't know, I'm
peed on her.
just surprised there was a sibling that accepted that.
I know. She's such a good sister. I wouldn't put up with that shit.
Nuclear Gamer 1 says, when I was a kid, I mixed up my C's and P's. So needless to say, ordering corn was always a source of embarrassment for my mom.
How often do you order corn?
Excuse me, Mom. I would like to have some porn again. Honestly, I haven't met a child so obsessed with corn.
Mixed up, in quotes.
Grabble says, delicious buttered porn. Popcorn. Objectinator says, when I was 12, I went to my new friend's place for the first time. 20 minutes in, she made me laugh so hard I peed my shorts.
Crap.
I asked for the bathroom and she led me outside as a joke. I laughed even harder at that funny joke and I peed some more. No. Telling me they peed outside like dogs is what she said. She let her outside and said, we pee outside like dogs.
We do
I said,
that.
haha, I've actually peed myself, so... Awkward silence, and she took me to the bathroom. So she felt so guilty that later that night she purposefully peed herself. Who is this amazing friend who is so funny that she keeps rolling with it, bringing you outside like, yeah, we've had some laughs, but we pee outside here. Like, seriously, who's this mute?
It's cool to pee your pants. Did I go in here already?
It's cool to pee your pants. Yeah, I'm cool. Turns out she was out of underwear. Don't know who it was worse for, to be honest. I don't know who it was worse for, to be honest.
You.
You, yeah.
My family, sometimes we have a pee tree, and whenever you have to go pee but you're in the pool, you go outside and then you just pee on the tree.
On the pea tree.
On the pea tree.
Don't eat the fruit.
It's extra tasty. My family is
This looks hard.
a little bit hippies. That's not hard. That's
Okay.
easy, guy.
Seamus says, not a B-Day story, but in grade 5, in the 5th grade, I really had to pee. But my teacher wouldn't let me go. It got to the point where I had to run out of the class and didn't make it to the bathroom. At least the other kids understood what happened and didn't make fun of me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dreamland. Are you cold?
Well, not too bad. Surprisingly.
Really? Acid Silver has had a lot today here. Jesus, and there's more coming down. Acid Silver says, during a day at the park, I kept jumping off the swing so I could make a cool landing. One of these attempts, I jumped off too late. Instead, I fell face first into the ground. As I was trying to get up, the swing came back around and smacked me on the back of the head so hard that I started crying. Eventually I cried out, but I didn't want to tell my dad why I'd been crying, so I just laid there until someone came and got me.
Look, I'm gonna be an egghead.
Nice.
It's actually called Conehead, but...
Spider-Man says, I was 7, and one day at school my class was going to the swimming pool, and when we had to change into our swimming clothes, and we put our normal clothes into a plastic bag. When we lined up in the hallway, the coach came out with someone's X-Men underwear in front of everyone, including all the cute girls. Wait, dude, this is when you're 7? Where... I don't... 7 and you were into girls? Anyways, you said someone forgot their underwear. I then noticed I had a hole in my bag and the underwear was mine. All the kids laughed at me.
But that's cool!
Oh no, all the cute girls!
What's this?
Retrospectively cute? Oh. Acid Silver says, during class one day, I was talking with my friends about a girl I heard about whose name was Princess. I absolutely tore into this girl because her name sounded stupid to me. Then the girl behind me told me that her name was Princess, to which I immediately tried to do damage control. I felt like a piece of shit when I saw her from that point on.
Aww.
Oh God. Oh gosh. Ian Kid on Turbo Toot. Community college story. I had just finished class, was heading in a hangar room to eat lunch. Door at the top short ramp, long building. With a rail I can easily dodge under. Instead of going around, this time the tight worn out pants I was wearing teared clear from the crotch to shin. I talked to staff and somebody actually made the effort to see if they could sew it.
Aww.
For reasons I don't remember, they couldn't in the end, and I had another class.
That's too bad.
You're in college. Just leave. You didn't need to go to another class. Why'd you go to the other class? Fuck it. My
Maybe
pants
it was-
ripped. That's a day. Like,
Maybe
seriously.
it was a participation based, like some of my classes, I had to have 100% participation.
Then you go to the professor and you say, dude, rip my pants. I'm gonna go home and get drunk. Cool? Professor would be like, yeah, fucking, you ripped your pants. Get the fuck out of here. Flashpoint has a picture here of a big group at this maybe the visual will help. There's a bunch of people hanging out at this birthday party. I fucking love pictures from this era.
Oh my god, look at all their arms lined up.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like the table.
I don't know if I can. Just a cool birthday picture.
It honestly did not cross my mind to not go to class.
Yeah, it doesn't really work showing pictures on the show, but cool birthday picture. All right, so Flashpoint says, story has a hell of an ending, he's saying. I was 8 years old. It was 1988, and 4 of my front upper baby teeth hadn't fallen out yet. Just Beat It by Michael Jackson had just hit the top of the charts. I added that. Am I right? It was 1988? Anyways, my dentist at the time said that all 4 teeth had to be removed, otherwise my teeth won't grow correct. Wow. So, now I'm in the dentist chair. My dad sitting in the corner waiting for this to get done, so the dentist doesn't inject any freezing. He starts pulling out my teeth? What? Even when I tell him that it really hurts. I asked, don't you have to freeze my mouth or something? But he still refuses to add freezing, and then he proceeds to tell me that I'm just to suck it up and stop bitching? What is this fucking shit? That if I didn't stop crying and yelling, he was gonna make it more painful.
What?
As he didn't have any patience for it. My dad remained quiet through the whole thing.
What?
Dentist is finally done and hands me a sucker and points me to the door. My dad could tell how unusually and extremely painful it was. We left the room. My dad tells me to hold on and wait right outside the door. Door closes. I hear yelling. Moments later, my dad walks out and the whole plastic bowl of suckers, hands it to me and says, the dentist told me to tell you he's very sorry. He was very mean to you and wants you to have all of these. Oh, by the way, we aren't coming back. I peeked behind my dad into the room and found out that he was so upset at the dentist's treatment of me that he punched him in the face, yet surprisingly the dentist didn't do a thing afterwards.
Range down.
What?
Sue!
What is this fucking story? Fair to say... What? We never went back to the dentist again? What is this world? The dad let it happen, though. In the pic I attached... If the pic I attached worked, I'm a little shit kicker at the top, missing front teeth, leaning over the crowd. So... That's him at the top. So your dad sits back and is like, yeah, man, that sounds fucking painful. Then after the fact says, hey, wait a minute, that was really fucking painful. And then goes in and punches the dentist.
Did he not know that he hadn't... I don't know, that's insane.
It was 1988 and brutal. Yup. Jesus. I guess I grew up in a slightly different time.
Holy fuck.
That's pretty fucking crazy. I think the father was building up rage and silence. Well, instead, step in and stop the fucking teeth pulling, man. Oh, that was hard to listen to. Alright. K16 says, when I was 10, I was a very active computer user, which made my parents paranoid and I don't get enough sleep. I went to bed early at 9 and woke up my brother laughing on his cell phone before going to sleep at midnight. From there, my parents burst into my room. Mom confiscated the keyboard, and my dad spends half an hour screaming at me for sleeping late. In tears and emotionally broken, I stutter and explain they heard my brother. My mother said, you got lucky and left without returning the keyboard. I couldn't sleep until 5 a.m. My brother is ignored because my parents love me more. I've now learned to ask them to love me a lot fucking less. Also, I sleep poop now.
I feel like I didn't follow that story.
I didn't really follow it either.
Oh shit.
Long story short, he was an avid computer user and they were paranoid he wasn't getting enough sleep. And so when they heard his brother laughing on his cell phone late at night, they blamed him and gave him a big lecture.
Okay.
Acid Silver says, when I was a kid, I was super into soccer and I played it every time during lunch. One of these days, when trying to block a shot, a kid kicked the ball back into my nuts, which brought me to my knees. The ball was knocked back towards them, so they kicked it again and hit me in the stomach, and then kicked it a third time and hit me in the face, knocking me to the ground. I stopped playing soccer after that.
Aww.
Grabble says, Cool Cruise on Turbo says, when I was in the 4th grade or so, there was a kid that was passing invitations to everybody in class. He was very clearly avoiding giving me an invitation. I went home that day feeling a bit bummed, but that weekend, my aunt took me to Chuck E. Cheese's to cheer me up, and the kid was having a party there that day. When I noticed him there, I looked, and no one from the class was there. I found out later that no one liked him. Type of kid that loved attention.
Oh, snap.
So he invited everyone but you, then got nobody ended up coming?
Yeah.
Wow, that's justice for all those other kids.
Yeah.
That have been talking today about their Chuck E. Cheese no-shows. Davo says, it's not really traumatizing, but once walking through the shopping center with a friend of mine, he decided it would be funny to pretend I had pushed him. He leaned in close to me and then flung himself backwards into a rack of dresses that fell everywhere. The female manager in the section then marched over to me and gave me a lecture about why isn't it okay to push people and told me to pick up all the dresses. Imagine the look she gave me when I said he pushed himself. She looked at me like a fucking idiot. My friend found this all hilarious. Thanks, man.
Oh my god. I do that all the time, like pretend fall. Pretend like Fraser pushed me.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
When? In public?
No, like here, like whenever I fall to the ground.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
No, you don't.
I was picturing in a store, like doing this big, grand performance.
No, I don't do it in public.
Getting up and doing bows. When I was 5, my family and I went to Disneyland of our summer trip, and my dad had an extra Kodak disposable camera. This is Miss Fable, by the way.
Okay.
He had an extra Kodak disposable camera and gave it to me because I wanted to take pictures of our trip. It was with me all the time during the trip, and I always kept it safe. Of course he did. I took so many pictures with it, and during our last day of the trip, I told my parents and brother I wanted to take their photo. I told them the exact poses to make, and right when I was gonna take the picture, the camera dropped from my hand and broke. I started crying, saying, "Sorry, I broke it," and my brother started to laugh at me. The roll was exposed to light and couldn't be saved.
No! That sucks.
Poor little Miss Fable. When I was in 5th grade, I had a huge crush on a girl that had told me along the way that what her plans were for summer. She told me that her plans were the French immersion summer camp in the center of the street of my house. I hated learning or speaking French at the time, just the worst. In my mind, this is the perfect plan to convince my crush to maybe feel the same way. So, of course, I proceeded to tell my mom how fucking stupid I was about French fucking immersion summer camp just up the street. So, no other option were on the table in my eyes. Summer break begins and now I'm walking into French immersion summer camp. I mean, what the hell am I walking into? I thought. I was late and ran into the room and saw only 10 kids and a counselor sitting on the floor. I freeze on the spot, looked at my crush and the counselor and the other kids. The kids started to laugh, so I asked if it was alright if I went to the washroom. Now, I don't understand why. The picture kid running down the hall, past the washroom, out the door, and proceeded to run, tears in his eyes, all the way to my house. This is when I realized there was another reason why my parents send kids to camp. My mom had a job, so she wasn't home, and went out on the front porch. Mom came home early. I confessed the real reason I went to camp, still in tears and embarrassed, thinking my mom would be upset, and she wasn't. Fuck you, French immersion camp. I don't understand.
I don't understand that one either. Why'd they laugh?
I'm so confused. Anyways, Timberwolf. In the 5th grade, my best friend told me that his brother, about 2 years old, had left a lunch bag in the cubbies. I fucking love that word. You put you know what cubbies are for, don't you?
What?
You keep your chubby pop in there.
Aw, you do. Cubbies are for chubbies.
Yeah, cubbies are for chubbies.
And if you're a real badass.
If this is a North American thing, only you Europeans, cubby is just a box at the front of the class that you put all your personal belongings in. It's assigned to each kid. And a chubby pop is a half-size pop in a sort of bottle that looks like a normal 1-liter bottle, except it's half the size, so it's just this little ball pop. And they call it a chubby, and it's for kids.
And if you're a badass, you...
What, snort it?
No.
Oh, what?
You funnel them.
Oh, you funnel the chubbies.
Oh, God damn it. Keep pressing the wrong button for that.
All right, so in the 5th grade, my best friend told me that his older brother, about 2 years older, had left a lunch bag in the cubby there, and during free time, we went and opened it and were met with the most acrid, tear-jerking stench, and we scrambled to close it. Another classmate caught us right as we were dry heaving and shutting it and said, "What happened?" We told them that they didn't need to know. A few days later, the whole 5th grade class started complaining about a faint, putrid smell, and my friend and I realized our classmate must have opened it and left it ajar. Like this was a few days later, or in hindsight, must have failed to close it. Then we furtively disposed of it in the bathroom garage.
Oh, I thought that was going somewhere.
Did I tell you about...
That basically boils down. I smelled a smelly smell. What a childhood. What? Go ahead.
When I was in grade 7, I think, we had a class on a portable, or our class was in the portable.
How old?
When I was in grade 7.
Okay.
And I forgot my orange juice in a container. And for like a month, we could smell something that was just terrible. And no one could figure out what it was. And then our teacher eventually was like, okay guys, like we have to clean this place out. Like whatever is yours and in this classroom, you have to take home tonight. and only bring back what you need. Like, this is just out of hand. And so we all started grabbing like stuff of ours.
Textbooks, fucking plants.
Well, anything in the back shelf.
Pictures off the wall.
And so I grabbed this water bottle that I had, and I totally realized it was my orange juice.
It was
that had
you?
been there for like.
It was you? You were the smelly Becky?
The smelly one.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was really, really embarrassed.
Smelly Becky.
And I didn't tell anybody.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Net nerdy on and then somebody else is telling a story on another show somewhere saying, and it was very smelly and no one ever found the source, and the host was being like, that had no point.
Oh. Oh, I see what's happening here.
Yeah. Net nerdy on Turbo Toot says, I remember once I was being a little shit. Wouldn't go to bed on school night just an hour longer. Just 1 hour longer. As he says, yeah, but good thing on a bunk bed, and I slept on the bottom and top with my brother on it. I don't understand any of that sentence. Collapsed. Oh, okay. That's just a very weirdly constructed sentence. Didn't save me. I slept once, and I got to the top bunk collapse on me.
What?
I slept in once and got the top bunk collapse on me. Luckily, bro wasn't in bed that time.
So the bunk beds were exploding?
We
And
need-
collapsing? What does this have to do with not sleeping?
I'm gonna read it one more time to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this is just, you might need to work on some, a lot of commas. You might need to go get that Grammarly, or what is that fucking thing they keep advertising on YouTube? I remember once, I was being a little shit. Wouldn't go to bed on a school night, just 1 hour longer. But good thing, on a bunk bed, and I slept on the bottom and top, with my brother on it, collapsed. Didn't save me. I slept in once and got the top bunk collapse on me. Luckily, bro wasn't in bed that time. Yeah, we might need to get you.
Maybe English is their first language.
Maybe the English not their first language.
Yeah.
And if it is, hide that fact with your life because you skipped English. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'm sorry to call you out like that, but that was hard to read. Captain Awesome says, it was my 16th birthday. Just finished college and decided to go to town for drinks with friends. Ended up buying a bottle of vodka and went through the majority of the bottle myself. Fair to say, I was wasted. It then occurred to me that from the comment from a friend that I actually had one lesson left, so after telling some class friends, they'd helped convince the tutor I was normal until I fell asleep over a computer. I was meant to be in the building. Don't think anyone was convinced at that point. So they're okay, so they were drunk, but they still had to go to class.
Yeah.
So they just pretended they were sleeping when they were 16.
Oh, high school drinking. You shouldn't do that.
There you go. Net Nerdy says his brain was faster than his typing. Spooky story, if that's okay. Miss Fable, you're my favorite. Spooky story, if that's okay. Spooky story, gang. I hope that's all right. Here comes the spooks. Careful. Just in 5, 4, 3, 2. Just to reiterate, spooks are coming in 2, 1, 0. When I was 15, I invited a friend over for a sleepover. We didn't want to sleep yet and decided to talk in the dark. My house in Oregon was right by the woods. My window was open, and at some point, we heard some people talking, but kind of far away. From what we could tell, it sounded like a guy and 2 women. They sounded a bit older than us, and we didn't recognize the voices. So just to reiterate, the setting is a house in Oregon right by the woods. And she's 15. And it's a sleepover?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so sometimes when I'm reading, I'm putting so much effort into capturing the voice of the writer that I didn't even like pay attention to the details. All right, so their voices seemed like it was coming from the direction of the woods. I remembered one of the women saying, "I don't want to do this," and the guy telling her, "You gotta finish it." Keep in mind, this is probably 1 a.m. and no one is awake. We both went to the window to try to hear what was going on. From what it sounded like, something was being slashed or cut, and we heard squishing noises. The guy kept egging her, saying, "Just finish it. God damn, you're slow." While the other girl, who was quiet in the group, started laughing. It seemed like the noises were drifting deeper in the woods, so we didn't hear them again. We stayed up all night and freaked out over what the hell we listened to. The next day we went to the woods to see if we could find anything, and we didn't. No blood, or some kind of tool or anything making slashing noises. Whenever I saw my neighbor, I asked them if they heard anything that night, and they told me no. My friend thinks they were sacrificing an animal to the devil or something, and I still have no clue what we heard that night. All we found were these old condoms.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
These old used condoms.
Funny.
Are you being ironic? This Fable says, yeah, still have no idea what that was. Did it not occur to you that this could be maybe not a spooky story? Are you that innocent for this world? No, it sounded like cutting. You said squishing? And a guy saying, "Just finish already, you're goddamn slow." I'm trying. Just finish it.
I could have done it by now.
Shut up, bitch. We're letting her do it this time. Like blood. No, I'm dead serious. All right, Miss Fable. Okay. Sorry I didn't take you seriously. Net Nerdy on Turbo Toot says, "My cousin was passing out birthday invites back in kindergarten, but was sad since his invite had a gopher and supposedly had a pet gopher. And the older kids were in drowning gophers in the playground fields and thought they were killing his pet."
They were drowning gophers?
I don't know. I still don't understand. I'm trying here, Net Nerdy. I'm sorry. My cousin was passing out birthday invites back in kindergarten, but was sad since his invites had a gopher and supposedly had a pet gopher, and the older kids were in drowning gophers in the playground field and thought they were killing his pet. I guess like he had a gopher on his invite, like a little cartoon gopher,
But also in real life?
but he also owns a gopher, and then coincidentally on the same day that this gopher-loving, pet gopher-owning kid is handing out his gopher-themed birthday invites, they happen to be drowning gophers in the playground field on that same day.
Yeah. Those people should get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes, Fresh. That's what it was.
What a crazy story. Vite says, in like 2nd grade, our teacher supposedly had like the best nose in the world or something. Is this how you talk? So like whenever she smelled something bad in class, she would always assume it was us kids like farting and discipline us, saying that we should go to the bathroom if we need to fart.
Oh, sweet.
It was usually always blamed on me. I was the fat kid at the time. This caused a lot of angst in the other kids because they were all like with the idea that like it has to be the fat kid farting or something when it was never me. It wasn't never you. You doth protest too much if you say it was never you. It was sometimes you, because everybody farts. This is where things got weird. One day in class, the year was almost over. She got sick of the bad smell quote. Always interrupting her classes, so she told all of us to line up. We did, and she proceeded to sniff all of our butts in order to determine who was the one that farted.
The fuck?
When the nut that she was finished sniffing all of our butts. What could that typo mean? When the nut, her being the nut.
Oh, okay.
When the nut that she had finished, okay, all right. Smelling our butts, she went, I guess it's just a weird smell of the room. None of you did it.
What the fuck? How old, what age is this?
Second grade. Plot twist, the last time she sniffed our butts, it was me though.
For real?
Plot twist.
Guess her nose isn't that good after all.
Take that, Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan.
Wouldn't you be so tempted just to fart in her face?
Yeah, but it was second grade. They don't have sphincter control at that time. It's just you just take what you can get. All right, that's the end of that. I'm gonna head back to the birthday thread, see if anything else got put in there.
I'm fucking goddamn teachers.
Have you been doing okay today?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you beat the game?
No.
Jesus, you need to beat at least once on your birthday.
I know.
Start to focus.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. I'll start to focus now.
Timberwolf has 2. At a friend's birthday, 8th birthday party, I was the only guy invited, and the Spice Girls were super popular.
Oh, hells yeah.
So we given our Spice Sonas, the Spice Sonas we had on the cake, I was Boy Spice.
Aww.
We were given Spice Sonas on the cake, and I was Boy
That's
Spice.
really
at an 8th.
cute.
That was an 8th birthday party. Second one, for our 11th or so birthday, my twin sister wanted to have her own birthday party, so she had hers around our birthday, middle of November. Mine was bumped to February. Wow! The justice in that.
Yeah, you want your own birthday? You fucking have it in February.
Fucking twin says, actually this time we're having separate birthdays, and the parents are like, all right, your birthday's now then. Obviously you were first dibs. Yours is getting bumped because she's a bitch. Dad's like, man, I feel for you, kid. My mom's my twin, and she's fucking like that.
Good try.
Yeah. I got sick. Net Nerdy says I got sick at my cousin's party for the whole time, a few hours. I puked on the side of the car coming home. I was a lad. I like the addition of I was a lad. Net Nerdy says again. I think Net Nerdy's trying to make up for shit. Short and simple, I had some cousins come to the park, found a balloon on the ground, planning to blow it up. My bro said, that's a condom. The other got a necklace from a dispenser which said flirt, and my bro said, that's kind of a fart.
What
That's a kind of fart,
fuck?
said his bro. A flirt is a kind of fart. I get it now.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. It's alright, we're reaching. I think we're at the bottom of the barrel. Sorry, Net Nerdy, that I came down so hard on you today. But you came in when I was at my most bleary-eyed, I think, from talking anyways. A lot of reading. We had some pretty good ones this time around. Pretty good.
You want to just chill for a little bit while I finish this round?
Alright. How about as a bonus round, we let the the Twitch chat do some, and go help out our mods, guys. If you find any that you find to be actually good in there, let the Twitch chat just post some. Copy pasta with credit any that you think are worthy of the show. But you know, if there's a ton of them, be good. You know, we're gonna get some shadows in here. It's the first time ever on our Binding of Isaac show, shadow bonus round. Ooh. So you shadow chatters over in the Twitch chat, you're gonna want to take advantage. And I guess just put that Grabble. I mean, any turbo can go post it into the Binding of Isaac thread there.
Whoa!
Just make sure that you're, you know, don't put any old thing in there. Make sure it's good. Birthday stories especially.
You to it, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I have a few more here, it looks like. Vite says, in like 2nd grade, our teacher supposedly had like the best oh, I did that one, okay. As a child, I suffered from electrical surges as a Timberwolf that would infrequently flash my memory, bang my head, but before I could cry, I forgot what happened and convulse while I slept. Wake up with my head where my feet should be, bruises on my limbs and hitting top of the bunk. I eventually grew out of these surges, but the worst can cause me to bound out of the top bunk and landed on the waste bin. In the waste bin, the noise startled my brother on the bottom bunk, who shrieked at the bucket-headed entity groaning in his bedside. At this point, we both crapped our pants.
Dude, why would they put you on the top bunk?
Yeah, really.
That's like a seizure waiting to happen.
Literally a seizure happening. Well, and falling from... Vite says, this one's a bit more traumatizing than the farting one I posted before. When I was super young at age 4 or 5, whenever I'd go over to my cousin's house, she had a long time running prank of making me think the world was fake. She would sometimes make her head and neck start twitching and say random sounds as if she was glitching out or standing in the middle of the room blank-faced, not responding to me at all. And when I questioned her about it later, she'd be all like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
It made me start to think that maybe I lived in a simulation, which I voiced out to her. So she told me about The Matrix, which I'd never heard of before. When we watched The Matrix for the first time, she whispered, this is a movie we made based on our thoughts about life. To which I immediately responded, what? And she looked at me crazy, like she had never said anything. She's told me all about the shit that she's done before, but for a few good years, I really thought that I was in a simulation or something.
That is fucked
You were 4 or 5 there at that time? Bonus points if she was like super cute and you had a crush on her later.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't have any more. Damn.
So are there many people in the shadow chat today, or are we waiting on nothing?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I want to give a big shout out to Grabble, who's been doing a lot of the legwork today, bringing everything together for us. Krya too, I think, has been helping out, probably being our de facto shadow chat paragon. Couple people who want to share, nothing posted yet. Well, big ups to the Turbos for really bringing out the stories today.
Yeah.
Thanks to Grabble. Yeah. I suppose we got a show and trailer coming probably pretty soon after we can but we gotta get, I don't know, some big trailers came out, I heard, like Star Wars and shit.
Right.
But we gotta get Halloween shit done.
Yeah. Holy crap.
We got Austin Beast Theater coming up in a few days. We never end up getting around to fucking what we do in the shadows, watching more of it.
I mean, we can do it even not Halloween months.
Yeah, we can, but it's just been hard to find time.
It has been very hard to find time. And I even quit school for a couple.
We're gonna play some spooky games. Well, I want to maybe go back to Ghostbusters. It's tough. I'm finding the game really
See, Fraser and I had this discussion yesterday about spooky games and Halloween.
We always do.
Yeah. I think spooky games are Halloween-y, and he doesn't think it is.
I think Halloween games can be spooky, but I don't think that spooky games are always Halloween-y. I don't think that,
We do want to play Little Misfortune, though.
for instance, Outlast, not a Halloween game. It's a horror game.
Yeah, I feel like that could totally be a Halloween thing.
I want to do Little Misfortune, and I also want to do, I want to go back to spookyghosts.com.
Yeah.
And I want to do,
I don't think I want it.
Halloween Forever.
Right.
Which is a game with Halloween in the title. That's kind of rare. Did I ever play Alien Isolation? Yeah, we played it on the show. I thought it was really slow paced and kind of jank. I just wasn't afraid. I didn't find myself at all thrilled. And this is coming from, like, we went all the way through Amnesia on the edge of our seats.
Yeah.
And it's basically the Amnesia genre. You're supposed to be, but they, like, I don't know, I just wasn't spooked in any way.
And this one's like, whoop, 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 whoop. I want that one.
Blasphemous could be played other months for sure.
Those guys are real dicks. There you go.
I was apparently more interested in Shadow of Mordor at the time. Okay.
Oh, yeah!
You didn't want to finish it today?
Nah.
No? Oh, some birthday.
I can't believe I didn't beat it once.
Birthday failure.
I practiced all year for this. This, my favorite show.
Is it Chapter It 2? Is it out?
Not here. It's out November 1st.
November 1st here. So yeah, we'll be watching that after Halloween. Here's one from Shadow Chat. One time it was my birthday and my dog, this is Kingly161, and my dog ended up puking as all my friends saw it, and my mom started getting pissed at me and yells at me, and my friends start laughing, and I'm just sitting there like, could have been perfect. You could have said woof.
Yeah. Remember the time when it was Thanksgiving at our house in Vancouver and my cousin's dog was there and they feed her the like giblets? Sorry, word. And so she ate them all and then came back in and we're all sitting around watching TV and then she just throws up and our friend literally thought she had just thrown up her own heart. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He like threw his chair back and was like, what the fuck?
Because it looks really weird.
Yeah.
Mankind123 said, this is another Shadow Chatter, I think. When I was little, I had a birthday party at my grandmother's house. I was so excited until my older brother and cousin popped balloons and ruined my party. I was so scared of the sound that I'm scared of balloons to this day.
Aww.
These are pretty pedestrian now. Once my grandma yelled woof in the car because she thought an accident was coming but couldn't think of a relevant word. Woof, woof. Grandma, what the fuck? I thought the car was gonna veer into this lane.
So you woofed?
I spooked it back in the other lane. Oh yeah. I forgot Dreams for sure. I want to do a Dreams Halloween show.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna have lots of Halloween-y stuff. Yeah, we definitely want to do Dreams.
I mean, we still have a week.
And we didn't get super spooky in Minecraft yet.
No, we definitely
We
have
started,
not.
we began, but we're kind of clock's ticking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not even trying.
But it did end our marriage, yes.
I never meant to do the things I did. Doesn't that count for anything? I'll
Oh,
save you.
So, it's almost dinner time. It's time to go back Becky's birthday dinner. So what is it? What was it again? We're gonna have ramen, then French fries.
And you can get ice cream and French fries.
From McDonald's.
McDonald's.
So we're doing both of those things?
No, probably neither.
No? Wait, what?
Maybe
Neither.
Just ramen.
Just ramen.
Is it raining yet?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like it.
Is it raining?
Thanks, guys, for the birthday wishes.
Hey Siri, is it raining? Oh,
Oh.
shit. I was joking. Idiot.
We're gonna have a birthday picnic
It is raining.
this weekend.
It ends in 100 minutes.
I had a feeling that would happen. We're gonna have a birthday picnic this weekend, so we won't have a show on Saturday.
Yeah. No show on Saturday because we're out for Becky's birthday. Birthday celebration.
Because I like to be like Ben and extend it for a week.
Yeah, everybody seems to be like that.
Well, it's not my fault. We went out for birthday stuff yesterday because today it was supposed to be a little bit of a typhoon.
I feel like the only person who makes sure that his birthday lasts one day.
And then it's also not my fault because my birthday is on a Thursday and our friends work, and so then I have to do something with them on a Saturday. If my birthday was on a Saturday, it would be one day of birthdays.
Now I understand.
See?
Oh.
Still bitch about it every year.
All right, guys. Maybe I'm boring. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy birthday, Becky. Happy Binding of Isaac special Halloween to everybody else. Have a happy Halloween month.